Quincy.
That was
Part,
actually, I was
everybody
just saying,
else.
that was
Part
actually
God,
his
part-
part though. That was actually his
devil fruit.
part though, you know.
Part devil
You're talking
fruit.
about the first part, the first time, you know, when
Okay, yeah.
when he
yeah.
was
So,
sent to trace Luffy.
Those were
You know, when he-
possessions. This is what
Yeah,
I'm saying. Those were possessions. Now,
And I love this chat, man. This is a good chat, man.
Yeah.
now I get the personality thing because I also agree with the whole Blackbeard thing. I think he has multiple souls living with
I'm gonna have
him,
to
right?
cut you off and mute everyone for a
Yeah,
second.
I think one of them might be everyone was muted, man. You're all muted. We can't hear you.
Hey, you're muted.
You're
Eliz, you're muted.
bro. You're muted, bro.
You was muted that whole time. I don't know. You know,
I forget that I have on two different things. That's what it was. Okay. So my computer wasn't able to keep up with the stream we had going on. I've never done it with 4 people. I only done it with 2, me and Shawn. I didn't realize that just adding 2 more people were going to be too much for my computer. But what we're going to do is continue on to chapter 1038. Just go over that real quickly. And see if there's anything we want to talk about. That might be the chapter we get the Grim Reaper in. So I wonder
Are
what
we
people
good?
think of.
Are we good
afterwards.
though? It looks like it's good on my end.
Okay, great. Because I turned down the latency. I turned down the bit rate that was going out. I try to do my best to make it so that my computer can actually keep up with the stream. But yeah, we live and learn.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
we're good. Looks like we're
Okay.
good.
Yeah, this is
Right,
a
yeah, that
chapter
first
where
page.
Chopper was talking about the drugs, right?
Yeah.
Drugs.
And on that first page, they caught Niji and Yonji, you know,
Yeah.
in a book.
Yeah. So yeah, like my thoughts on the whole cover page is like I think it has to eventually lead to somewhere, right? Like it has to lead to somewhere.
I think Sanji's girl, she somehow saves her.
Mm.
I couldn't still believe that Sanji actually got it, bro. Like that was so fun. Sanji finally got it, bro. She's the daughter of
Viola.
Oh.
Viola was in love with him. I
So,
think Viola was in love with him. Wasn't she admires him? Like Robin and Nami does.
So we're
I think
starting with
women admire
1036.
Sanji, but no one actually falls in love with him.
Going past that.
137?
We're on 138.
Oh, 138.
Yeah, 137, we talked about the Zunisha showing up in the fruit and all
Yeah.
that.
And I also talked about the Gorosei talking about Luffy's awakening.
Yeah,
Luffy's
but we don't know if it's Luffy's awakening just yet. It's like everything's pointing to it.
I was talking about that devil fruit, that cat guy, and then everything. This whole arc has been about Luffy's devil.
Yes.
Why it's special.
But until it becomes confirmed, we can just say.
Yeah.
It does confirm.
It's almost confirmed, but
you gotta
go.
Yeah, it's like 98% confirmed. Only thing
you gotta go confirm because just like that, Oda could just like just curve what you thought was going on, and then you just look stupid. And then you look stupid because you're like, yeah, man, I guarantee this.
Bro. So you're telling me somebody on Rob Lucci's position, almost on equal terms, would be kicked out of the world government because he lost a measly double fruit?
Yes.
Yeah, that's up to the author. That's the whole point of being an author. You can
listen.
Go the other way.
Listen. It's still a devil fruit, bro. It's still a devil fruit, regardless how weak a measly devil fruit is. It's still a devil fruit in the wrong hands.
The Celestial Dragons, they have a ton of devil fruits. I mean,
also this.
whole government have the pick of the devil fruits. They have so many. And,
the gum fruit can be an important devil fruit and not be the specific devil fruit they're talking about. I mean, the Opiopi is a very important devil fruit, but I don't think it's the devil fruit the Gorosei we're talking about. So it's just all about red herrings. If what you're saying right now is, well, how could it be this or that? But that's what Oda has in mind when he's writing.
Yeah. And I agree with Ace. I actually agree with you. I believe that it is the Gummo Gummo no Mi we're talking about. I'm not like arguing. I actually agree with you, but we're just saying that it's not guaranteed. It's not like
so what I have to say, Luffy's devil fruit is the special devil fruit I was talking about. Unless it's in an SBS, you're not gonna make that as fair.
The editors could pull up on Oda and be like, "Hey man, we need you to spin this in another direction, Oda."
Another One Piece
Oda say, "All right."
Because real talk,
somebody has to give an SBS say, are you talking about, are the Gorosei talking about Luffy's devil fruit? I think one of the fans have to ask Oda directly on this video. Otherwise,
the thing is, like, everything going on with Luffy, like in the last chapter, that could be more of a Joy Boy thing and less of a actual devil fruit thing. Like, it could be like Joy Boy awakening Luffy's devil fruit because Luffy can't, because he's, personally, because he didn't know how to, and because he was dead at the moment. So Luffy or Joy Boy, somebody who is probably well versed in understanding how devil fruits work, or just abilities in general.
There's three things that I want to point out.
He could have just easily He could have just easily awakened Luffy's devil fruit right when he took over the body.
Yeah.
So that could be a Joy Boy thing and less of a special devil fruit thing.
Let me point out three things. This is the first arc that Vegapunk is gonna come specifically. And Vegapunk, as Oda described, is the premier expert on devil fruits. He knows something about devil fruits that nobody else does know. And that could be only for one thing. That's about a specific devil fruit, and Luffy's one in particular. I think Vegapunk will have some interesting insights into that. And then the Gorosei and everyone, they were talking about a specific light that needs to go out, right? And it just so happens that Luffy was the one that CP0 were targeting. Like, no one gets specifically targeted by the Gorosei unless there's a specific reason for that. And Luffy, if it's his death, and I don't think that they're afraid of Luffy like they were afraid of like Roger or Whitebeard, because Luffy, he's not achieved the level of notoriety either of them have. So it makes
I disagree with that because when we seen Eam, he had Luffy's picture in his hand. So obviously at that point,
Eam was the one who pointed it out. Yeah, Eam was the one who pointed it out because I believe Emu, he figured it out, Luffy's special.
Yeah, I was about to say, the call came from Emu. The call came from him.
But even before then, Luffy's caused so much problems with the world government.
Yeah, but not on the level of Kaido and Big Mom. I don't think Luffy's
but Kaido and Big Mom weren't born Kaido and Big Mom. They have to get there. And if you're smart enough to see, hey, this guy is kind of approaching these guys, let's stop him before he gets to where their level's at.
Yeah,
that's not beyond Yada.
Didn't the United States knew, like,
they chilling? They've been chilling.
Yeah, Kaido and Big Mom isn't even a direct.
Chilling.
They're not even.
Don't nobody want to bother Shanks.
Kaido and Big Mom aren't. They're not direct threats. Hold on.
Hey, you think Shanks is
like Kaido and Big Mom aren't direct threats to the world government. Like, they're not active threats. But Luffy has literally declared war on the world government, right?
Yeah.
So Luffy has literally been
starting stuff
out of world government, and it's like Kaido and Big Mom, they also help keep a balance in the world. So it's like, why do we need to target them? They help keep a balance. Luffy's the one coming to disrupt stuff.
Yeah, I
Shanks don't bother nobody.
That right there.
I think Emu was the one who figured this. I think Emu figured out that Luffy has the special ability of turning everyone around him into allies. I think that's the thing that
either that Kaido, or he knows the awakening can turn stuff into giants or can make stuff bigger.
I think the devil fruit, including the ability to turn enemies into allies, I think those two factors combined, I think that's how the world government determined that Luffy was
well that okay. See that's a that's a Goku trait. You know what I'm saying? Turning your villains into friends.
Jump main characters.
You know what I'm saying?
I think this was a long established fact. I think Mihawk was the first one to actually point it out, like during the Marineford War, right? This guy, he has this ability to turn everyone around him into his allies. I think that's his most powerful ability.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've covered this topic pretty extensively. I want to move on to the most important thing, I think, from chapter 138. And that would be the Grim Reaper that showed up. So let's lay out the facts. A lot of people were saying at first, oh, that's Brook, and Zoro's either hallucinating or it's a gag and Brook's in rags or whatever.
I said that.
But in hindsight, we know that that's not Brook because we know Brook is with Robin. We've seen in the chapters after this that he's nowhere near Zoro. So we could just scratch that out. It's not Brook. So with that out of the way, does anybody have ideas as to what this could be?
I think Zoro went to hell. And
I think Zoro's dead. I think he's in the brink of death. I think Zoro has to give something up, like something expresses like his lifespan or something to get back, or like give up an arm or something important that will hinder his ability as a swordsman.
Okay, what about you, Donnie?
I'm gonna be honest. I really believe Zoro, because Zoro already got beef with the Grim Reaper. He already told the Grim Reaper that he told Kuma the Grim Reaper can't take me out. So they here in this other dimension. It's clear that it's another dimension because the background is shifted and it's in the swirls, you know. So there's somewhere else, and he couldn't move his body. And then when Frankie was holding him, I mean that's not in this chapter, but when Frankie was holding him, the eyes were drawn black. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think Emma may exist in this realm. You see what I'm saying? Like the spirits of his swords, I think they may exist in this realm and may have some influence on, you know, he earned their trust or things like that. Because Ryuma's now in the underworld. He was finally released. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he could be there and could empathize or speak on Zoro's behalf. But I do think where Zoro is, time is different from where everybody else is. Wherever Zoro is, the time is different because we haven't gotten a hyperbolic time chamber. We hadn't gotten a Naruto in a meditating area. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So with Zoro and Luffy, like I said, I believe they died. With them dying, you know, could we have a situation where Zoro defeats the Grim Reaper and becomes the real king of hell? You know what I mean? And can control death at this point and send Luffy back, you know. But no, that's what I think is going on. It was very clear that's the Grim Reaper. Zoro's in another realm, and he can't move his body.
Hey man, you actually gave me something to think about. But go ahead.
Sorry. No, that's all I got on that one though. But
yeah, it's interesting. What about you, Shawn?
Okay, I think Zoro, like Luffy, is pretty much at death's door, right? Like they're dead, you know. They're not so far dead to where they can't like escape it, but I don't think they're fully I don't think they're alive, right? Like I think their body,
I think it's in God of War.
I think that their bodies both are pretty much their body function ceased, right? So I think that's Luffy and Zoro. And there are probably some other characters in Wano right now that are pretty much right there as well, like Ashura Doji. I don't know what's up with Denjiro or whatever, but either that. Now I think this is going to be a opportunity for both Zoro and Luffy to maybe go through something spiritually, I guess.
Yeah. Like God of War, like in God of War 3 when Kratos went to hell.
And so Luffy right now is again, I think he's dead with a possession. We disagree. That's fine. I'm not gonna keep biting at the bite, but I think Luffy's dead. So Joy Boy is currently possessing him now. Zoro, I don't think Zoro really has a figure to really possess him now. So he's just kind of dead, right? So, but it could be something like with Darth Luciano say. It could be something along the line where Zoro has to save Luffy, right? In the underworld, right? So he has to go pull Zoro back or Luffy back from the underworld, while Joy Boy might be having like a joyride in Luffy's body, pun intended.
Because Luffy went to hell and Imple down. Zoro wasn't there though to help him. You see what I'm saying?
So it could be something along that line. Maybe not. Maybe Zoro just has his own little thing. Maybe this is something that's Zoro needs to go through in order to get the dark blades.
This might be a conversation between Luffy and Zoro. Like this, you are as close to that as you ever were, but there's still something you have to accomplish. I think this is gonna test Zoro's work, how much he needs to learn and how much he has to prove that he becomes the strongest swordsman in the world. I think one of the major threats of One Piece's inner world, I think the reason why Kaido cannot die is because his haki is too strong. I think his conqueror's haki refuses to let him die. Same with Big Mom. I think Big Mom's conqueror's haki protects her from all damages. I think stop for them to get damaged is for them to lose people themselves.
Because that would be the ultimate thing to conquer if you could conquer death.
So maybe I missed this, but did you ever bring up him claiming himself as the king of hell?
Yeah. That's important.
Okay. Because I could see that, like, it's not like it's something he's talked about before. He just now brought it up, but it could be something relevant.
He fought a guy named King, them. Like literally fought a guy named King, and then now he's in
he
hell.
Has to conquer
Yeah.
His inner will has to be stronger than.
Yeah, but what about Izo taking on a CP0 while he was already injured, though, man? Like
that's insane.
Yeah, Izo's good.
But like Elis, this could be something along the line of like Bleach, right? Like this could be something along the line of Bleach, where we get Ichigo pretty much fight with the hollow within them, right? In order to pretty much
conquer. We all agree that
it could be something along like where Zoro has to fight the Grim Reaper. Like it might have to be somewhere Zoro has to fight the Grim Reaper in order to make his swords black, right? Like maybe it's not something he knows. But maybe after he like conquers the Grim or conquers death, right? He conquers death. Maybe that's how you turn. Swords. We always talk about how you turn a sword black. Maybe you got to conquer either the soul in there, or maybe you got to conquer death. I don't know.
He's certified. Certify your weapons.
but then again, Zoro has actually conquered death before. So, he
didn't conquer death. He was at the brink of death.
I said that's why I corrected. That's why I corrected myself. You gotta give me a chance to correct myself. That's why he beat death, like back in what's called. Like he could have died, but he beat
Kuma when he put all of his damage into him, right? That's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
So do y'all think the CP0? Do y'all think the people like are some of the orphans that know Big Mom? Because two of them got taken out like they wasn't nothing for real. You know what I mean? Like
the one that know Big Mom. I don't think.
Do you think any of them could be like some of the children that Big Mom?
Nah, I think Big Mom ate those. I think she ate all them. I think they going.
Okay. So now that I know, unless because I think she accountable too. I ain't gonna put past. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, here's the thing. Big Mom has his Mama Carmel's devil fruit. That's only one explanation. He ate Mama Carmel along with all the kids. That's why they're not here. Like, how can somebody be there when you just pick? They're like this small. They're like Kit Kat size. All
so
of
they
them.
put it in the terms you are what you did.
Yeah. Imagine if there's like 7 Kit Kats in front of you and you're basically low on blood sugar and something, and you just finish all of them, and then you come out of it and see where are all the Kit Kats, because they're in your stomach and you don't realize it.
Do y'all think maybe Law could have cut one of her personalities when he put his sword through her face?
I think Big Mom is gonna have.
That's actually an interesting question.
No, because when I saw that, I was like, because he can swap people's personalities.
Yeah, he can
and cut through them. And I was like,
I would say
out of the whole, because we're dealing with possessions. That's why I was like, I don't think she out.
I would say no.
Yeah,
I don't think that's what happened because I don't think Law was actively trying to do that. Could he have done it? Possibly, but I don't know if he was trying. I think he was just trying to beat Big Mom. I don't think that was like act in his head. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I'm just saying I just don't think.
No. I'm just thinking it. Right? I'm going through the pain like.
And that's really interesting because
when he had to switch
to do it,
we had to switch it though.
Did he try to? Probably not.
I have this theory, man, about Big Mom becoming like Don Chinjao, like happy-go-lucky retiree, like after this arc. I don't think Big Mom stays the same after she realizes what she has done to Mother Carmel. And I think Pudding uses her abilities to make her forget again. And then make her live like a normal human being. Chopper makes a drug that will stop her. Just like in the one on Blumphgawd. Yeah. And Katakuri takes over, becomes her. She retires.
But speaking on your Law question, though, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I just don't know if Law was necessarily that was like something he was actively like consciously trying to do. Maybe it's something he could have done unconsciously. So yeah, it could definitely be the case. And I think doesn't Law have to switch it with something, right? Like, doesn't Law usually have to?
We don't know the limitations of his.
I'm just saying
he can make that giant hole. I didn't know. I'm just saying powerful extend, man.
I'm saying, but usually when we see his ability and he takes from something, right? It's usually he replaces it. Like if I got like a remote right here, right? Yeah. Like if I had this remote right here, he has, in order to move this remote, he has to switch it with something.
Yeah. Not always. He has tact where he just like makes things move within his bubble, and sometimes he just cut it. I mean, his devil fruit is just so overpowered. Like, his devil fruit is weird because a lot of devil fruits you can give him limitations. His thing, it's like every week he's showing something new. Next thing you know, he can make things quiet and stuff.
I've never seen him do something like move without having to switch something.
Yeah, if you go back to Punk Hazard, he sliced the ship and like made it float and all that stuff. Like, his devil fruit is ridiculous.
But I'm talking about as far as switching.
Well, if you're talking about just damaging something, because I think
not damaging.
Thing is, it's like he damaged the personality. Not
I thought he ripped it out though.
Yeah, like the memories that she's blocking about Mother Carmel. Could he have cut those?
Like take them out?
Yeah.
You mean like take them out?
No, cut her from blocking to where she can remember stuff ability, now.
Right?
Okay. Oh, okay. I don't know.
She can remember stuff now, and it's like.
But if
that's a long, it was still be there though, right?
Hey, do you think Enma will play a hand in helping Zoro get out of hell? Because Enma is like.
Well, hold on, I'm confused. Are you saying like he removed them?
No,
just cut it.
No,
because if it's cut, it's still there though.
No, what I'm saying is she's blocking that memory.
Yeah, mental blockage.
Because she has that mental block when he sent because the blade went through her cheek and through her head.
Yeah.
So it's like, could he cut her mental block to where now she can remember everything she's been trying to block?
Oh, okay. Mental block. I thought you meant memory.
Like literally cut a mental block. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, before we move on to the next chapter, I'm going to go into presentation mode and just show a theory that I put on Reddit a while back in terms of the Grim Reaper. So let me just get that up real quick. Okay, hopefully you guys should be able to see that on my, you should be able to see my stream. Okay, so it's a Zoro is in limbo theory. So what you guys are saying is like basically almost like he's just straight up dead, like he's in a realm of death. But I propose that he could be like in an in-between realm. And what this does is that it allows him to see things. This could almost be like an application of arm and hockey for people who like master it to a special high degree. Maybe you're part of the Third Eye clan or whatever, you get special eyes. You can see things. Well, maybe Zoro's in a realm where he's close to like a spiritual realm where you become like a will-o-wisp, like Brook's original form or whatever. So I put in this theory. I came with this theory when the chapter came out. So I put in Brook, like maybe it's Brook. But we could just cut that out. Like I can just skip over that. So just to give like a general idea, why would Zoro be in limbo? Well, that's obvious. He's dying. He's in a lot of pain. Now, why would that give him this special spiritual or mental state? Well, there's precedent in that. When he was fighting Bones, he was on death's door. And when he was able to see or hear the breath of all things, which is like an application of Haki, observation and armament. So there's a precedent set that when Zoro's about to die, he's able to transcend his normal limitations and he can have a spiritual experience beyond what we previously thought he was capable of. So then I propose, like what if he's looking at Brooks, like there's the devil in the devil fruit. So what if he's looking at Brooks' devil fruit? The reason this is still relevant, despite it not being Brook, is because there's another character that I thought it could be, and that would be Killer. Now, the reason this could be Killer is because if he's seeing a spiritual version of whatever's there, and it was Brook, you would get why it's a Grim Reaper because of Brook's devil fruit and the fact that he's a skeleton. But what if this spiritual thing he's seeing is like represents the soul of a person? Are you familiar with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? I'm actually wearing the shirt right now, but not because it just happened to be the shirt I wore. But if you know JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you know that they have these things called stands. It's sort of their like spiritual representation of who they are inside. So what if Killer's spiritual representation is a Grim Reaper? And it makes sense. First of all, his name is literally Killer, and Grim Reaper is death. So that makes sense. And Killer uses sickles. He uses scythe-like weapons. So those are two good reasons why his spiritual representation would look like that of a Grim Reaper. And this could have actual plot implications as to why Killer would be there. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing. If you want, I'll send you anybody a link to this Reddit thing, but I'm just going to give you the spark notes. Basically, Killer might be there and he sees Zoro's dying, but it's not like Killer could really do anything about Zoro being on death's door. So his idea in his head could be, well, let me get him a doctor. Well, he knows a crew full of doctors. That would be Law's crew. I could imagine that everybody on Law's crew has some degree of medical knowledge. And the higher up you're on the crew, the more medical knowledge you probably have. So what doctor could he find? Well, Oda likes to keep things connected. Drake fights the CP0. Who fights with him? Not just any random person, but Apu, because Apu is in the worst generation. He likes to pair people up, not at random, but there are some kind of connection. Well, there's one particular character that has done pretty much nothing this entire arc, and that is Beppo. And that's weird because one, he's a second command of Law's crew. Why is he have not done anything? And two, I'm not going to sit here and go, well, he's second command, so he has to do something. He also has plot relevance in this arc. He's a mink, so he's connected to the Kozuki and the Wano. And he's connected to Big Mom, because don't forget, Big Mom killed his brother. So why this character, out of all characters, is someone who's done nothing, even though he has such connection to this very arc? If he doesn't do something this arc, what is he going to do for the rest of the series? What other relevance would he have than this arc? So the reason I bring up Beppo is this, I don't think things are coming to a close. And we know that now that Luffy got defeated. I made this before we even knew Luffy was going to defeat. Everything seemed like it was about to be wrapped up in a bow. But now we know, nope, there's still more happening. Well, we already see Luffy got defeated. So it's like, well, now this is something we have to deal with before the arc is over. But what if things become even more dire? King could have awakening. Maybe not Jack, maybe not Queen, but wouldn't it be weird if only Kaido had awakening on his crew? You would think like someone else would have it on. It's a Yonko crew. Katakuri has awakening. Why not King? King could have awakening and could come back to fight. because we know zones, that's their whole thing, is they're tough, it's their physical durability. And we know with awakenings from Impel Down that they have super recovery. So King might not be out. He might come back to fight. And he's the pterodactyl or whatever, one of those. And he could fly. So even if he fell off, he can come back. And it's not just King. Bing Mom still might come back. Now, she might do nothing more, but I don't think she was taken out. We all think that either she can do something by the end of this arc or in a future arc. Well, if she comes back in this arc, somebody's going to have to deal. So I'm just proposing that Beppo might come back at the very last minute to deal with either King or Big Mom. We never got to see Beppo in too long. Like, come on. Beppo got to prove why he's in this picture with the rest of the Vice captains. Like, yeah, Beppo, I hold my breath for Beppo. I feel like he's going to do something at some point. He's not going to just be some cute teddy bear. At one point, you're going to go, oh, wait, hold up. This guy, he's actually real deal.
I think Beppo had his moment. It was the Big Mom and Law and Kids fight.
Beppo never had. What has Beppo ever done?
If I'm being real with you,
Beppo had I'm saying that he had a moment to do something. It was the Big Mom fight.
Oh, well, there's still some time. You never know.
If I'm being real with you, I think.
Can I give my own thoughts on the Zoro thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, Zoro, he meets his dad, but okay, when he goes there to meet the Grim Reaper, he's also greeted by 3 characters: Oden, Ryuma, and Kunia. These 3 characters have really huge importance to him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the reason why Zoro became put Zoro on the path to becoming a samurai. And Oden and Ryuma, they are the 2 strongest swordsmen in the generation. And Zoro also has each of their swords, right? Zoro had Ryuma's sword, he had Oden's sword, and he had Kurina's sword as well. So that's why it makes sense for all of them to appear when Zoro will interact with each of them. And Oden is the motivator for the current time, Ryuma is the sword guard and his relative. So you'll have a huge importance for him to be in there. But the one who's going to be the most important is Kunia, because she's going to be the most important part of this story, as she gives him a push to actually fight death and basically push on to be like chase after his current dreams and not giving up. Basically, then he wakes up and sees Chopper reviving. I think that's how it is. Basically, having meetings with all 3 of them, and basically then giving him motivation to push on.
Yeah, I could see it going down like that.
If I'm being honest with you,
yeah,
I don't really think Oda has any attention for anything great for Beppo. Like, I don't think he's built anything. Like, he hasn't built anything for Beppo. Like we never got Beppo's reaction over his brother's death or anything. We never got that saying, I need to get vengeance.
Beppo's the comedy guy. Like, he saw the cover art with the right hand. Beppo was like,
can he even fight? I mean, well, he can fight. He could fight.
See,
but is he
thing.
really like
that's the thing right there?
Like Killer.
That's why I was losing my mind.
Like Killer's name tells you that he's a fighter, right?
Beppo, he photobombed the right hand cover. Like, he was like chilling in that photo.
He on the color spread cover though.
Exactly. But his whole body's laying out there. He didn't forget about it.
He photobombed.
He's on the cover spread because he's a right hand man, but that doesn't.
Yeah, but why not?
At the same time, it's like
everybody else.
Oda hasn't given him anything. Like, he's never like built any little plot for him. Even though there's a plot there to be had, I'm not saying it's not a plot there to be had. But he's never gave any importance to Beppo to be like, you know what? I'm gonna have some closure on this plot line right here. Like, there's nothing in the
If you're talking about important right hands, then we have to talk about Big Mom's daughter. Like, what's her name again? The one with the gigantic legs.
I mean, twins.
No, gigantic lady. The one with the sword. Yeah, Smoothie. I mean, she's the most worthless right hand in the story.
Maybe Oda doesn't have anything for her either, you know. At least maybe in some greater rulership parts though.
Him and Smoothie, I think they fall in the same category. They're 2 like incompetent people. I That's one of the things that Big Mom's arc like show. Like her crew are full of incompetent people. She and Katakuri are the two most competent people in their crew. And I think the same thing was shown in this arc as well. When it was King, he was the one when all the shit went loose. It was King who got the army completely together and focused on the Straw Hats and the allies. Before that, it was everyone disorganized and everyone was getting knocked out, right? Because it kind of shows that all the Yonko, they don't have really that many good allies. Only one or two, only their right hands are competent, and they are the ones who can actually take charge. Whereas in the Straw Hats, every one of them are competent. They can hold their own.
Right, that's where Yonko they depend on numbers. That's why, like I've said, I feel as though the difference in Yonkos, right? Like when we look at each Yonko and we compare each crew, like outside of just the Yonko.
We ain't talked about
the Straw Hats, they beat 10,000 people by themselves. You saw that.
I think Shanks probably has the most well-balanced crew. But let me say this. I don't know if I would say he has the most powerful ones. I think as far as well-balanced, like his main crew, I think they're kind of like the Straw Hats where they all can fight at a high level.
Yeah, I think
the other Yonko, they have numbers and they have more, they might have like a stronger right hand. Like I'm not okay. Ben Backman, he might be the
ain't got a right hand. He gave it up.
You remember, dude? Ben Backman stopped the Admiral. Like he made the Admiral just go.
But did he really though?
And Admiral's really scared of.
I got this canon theory about Shanks.
Hold on. Let's be serious. Did Ben Backman really stop Kizaru, or was he only just a minor?
Kizaru was
hold on. Was he just a minor convenience? Because in the manga, maybe not. Hold on. In the manga, after Ben Backman stopped Kizaru, the next time we see them, Kizaru was doing whatever he felt like doing in the first place, and Ben Backman himself said, I guess he's going to do whatever he want to do. That's not right. That's like Kizaru pretty much said like,
that's ultimate.
Hold on, Kizaru pretty much was like, oh, Ben Backman, ooh, scary. Let me continue what I was doing, and Ben Backman couldn't do anything. Like, did he really stop him, or did Kizaru just kind of entertain him for his?
I think Shanks is the most dangerous person of all the four Yonko, other than Blackbeard. I think Blackbeard and Shanks are the two biggest threats in the world.
Yeah, I think Shanks been the villain the whole time.
I think Shanks is.
No, think about this now.
Yeah, I mean,
we was introduced to Shanks. We was introduced to Shanks. And then right after that, who we get next? We get Buggy, two members of Roger's crew. You know what I'm saying? We don't see Shanks as in a negative light. You know what I'm saying? But Buggy, we see him in a negative light. He don't like the hat. You know what I'm saying? He get mad. He don't even know Luffy. He just don't like the hat. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So for Shanks to willingly give up an arm, he's got another level of hockey. Like he's got another level of hockey.
Man, I thought you was gonna say something along the line that Shanks went to the Gorosei to go snitch on Luffy.
No, we ain't got. I thought we ain't in the meat of potatoes yet. I ain't want to go too. Because
I'm saying
obvious that we
started saying like Shanks is the bad guy, but then you didn't even give something that could have been even bigger. You know what I'm saying?
I think Shanks is like the guy mediator. He's the guy who keeps the there are criminals in the world that basically keep the peace, who keep the cops and the criminals in line to make sure that the entire system doesn't go ape shit. And everyone starts killing one another. Yeah. But I think Shanks falls into that role. He's not a criminal. He's not even a cop either. He's somewhere in the middle. Like he's the middleman between everyone. He's the guy the cops and the criminals go to find a solution.
Because the thing with Shanks is him and Buggy. Like I'm a real big fan on Buggy. Because Buggy was the first one. Well, Buggy was the first one who let us know that the One Piece wasn't a treasure. So in that episode, when Buggy didn't have
Buggy being like Joker, like completely
Well, when Buggy didn't have his body parts for a moment, he was on the island. Let me finish. Now, mind you, 3 episodes in that first little season, when Buggy gets on the island where he's talking to the dude in the box, the dude that's in the box was like, "What's your dream?" And Buggy said that my dream is to get treasure and get drunk. It wasn't to get the One Piece. It wasn't to even to go look for the One Piece. It was to get drunk and get treasure. So why would a member of Roger's crew not be looking for the One Piece?
Yeah.
If One Piece was treasure.
Everybody in Roger's crew knows what it is.
Exactly.
Other than Shanks and Buggy.
Exactly.
Shanks and Buggy wasn't there.
But you can't tell me that nobody on.
I think Shanks.
They might have hinted at something. I'll give you that. They might have hinted that, like they might have said something along the line like, "Oh yeah, it wasn't gold. It wasn't any gold."
Big Mom don't even know if it's a treasure.
They probably was like, "Hey, it ain't no treasure or nothing. It's something else." But if y'all want to find out, go find it. But I don't think they know what the one, like Buggy knows what.
Okay, even what you saying,
he just knows it's not something that he's.
No, but even what you saying that if they did come back to the crew and say, if you want to go look for it, go look for it. Okay, Oda showed us that Buggy, he can detach his body parts and doesn't have to be at the same place and not die. And this whole time through the series, we have never seen Buggy's nose. We've only seen the red dot. We've never seen his nose. And he has the chop fruit.
Yeah, I mean, he has the nose since he was
right. He has the chop fruit. And he can detach his body parts. He could have left his real nose, at the One Piece. If somebody told him, came back to the ship and was like, "Hey, this is what it is." And everybody's laughing. And they're like, "Why y'all laughing so hard? What's the treasure? Y'all left us." You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's what it is or what it could be, but Buggy's not actively searching for One Piece, and Shanks isn't either.
I mean, but I could explain that, like how I would explain it. Now, when you go to get a treasure, right? You like if they left Shanks and Buggy, they probably, Shanks and Buggy probably think, "Oh, they're gonna bring back the One Piece, right?" And then maybe when they came back, they didn't have a treasure. They didn't have nothing.
Right.
So Buggy, you could put 2 and 2 together and say, "Well, it must not have been the type of treasure I thought it was."
Well, somebody got that fruit though. The fruit that Buggy ate. Somebody stole that fruit from somebody.
I don't think Buggy knows. I think Buggy has a hint. I think 3 people got a hint of what the One Piece is. I think Dragon and Shanks, and Buggy, they got a hint from Roger, so what it might be, but they don't know the whole crew. And I think Shanks was given the last poneglyph to hide, so that the one who's worthy, he himself, is the guy.
So then we can agree that
chooses to be worthy, that he gets to find the One Piece.
So we can agree that Rayleigh knows.
Yeah,
Rayleigh knows, and everybody in the crew knows. I think Roger gave parts of the answer to specific people, like Dragon and Shanks and like somebody else. Like what's the other one who found a disciple? Somebody else, but he gave an answer to 3 people specifically, and they found the 3 disciples. Sorry, Whitebeard was the 3rd person. So here's the thing, my theory. Like Roger gave a half answer to 3 people: Dragon, Whitebeard, and Shanks. And all 3 of them thought of Joy Boy as 3 different people. Whitebeard thought it was Ace, and then Shanks thought it was Luffy. Who was the 3rd person again?
There could be a 4th person though.
No, I think there was 3. And Dragon thought it's Sabo. Dragon thinks it's Sabo. So I think Whitebeard found out during his death that it's Luffy. I don't think Dragon still knows that it's Luffy that's just told him what to be Joy Boy. I still think he thinks it's Sabo. I think that Dragon needs to, once Dragon realizes it, he's gonna go to Luffy and team up with him, take down the world government. I still think that
it was stated that Dragon thought. It was stated that. I got a question for you. It was stated that Dragon thought Sabo was Joy Boy.
No,
I think that's my theory. I think.
Oh, okay.
Roger told them there was a guy who's gonna be born in this era, who's gonna change the world. So they didn't know who.
You think Toki told him that?
No, Toki didn't do it. This isn't Toki. This is them. Once they went to Laugh Tale, they found out about the truth. They found out about the prophecy and everything. That's why Roger left. And we were too early. Remember, I think it was in the latest movie. We arrived too early. And Roger was left. So what they did too early. I think that means that he wasn't born at the right time. The weapons they weren't born with. I mean, Shirahoshi and the other two, I think, are weapons. I think one of them is Frankie. Frankie is Pluton. And the third one is going to be Uranus. And I think that might be Momo or somebody else. I think three of them are already around.
What makes you think Frankie is Pluton?
Frankie has the plans, right? So Frankie was already a cyborg. And when he goes to like Vegapunk space, he might have found new technology, and he probably thought that since he is like the best person to judge, who's worthy to become Pluton. So he decided, why don't I just become Pluton myself? And he inserts the weapon into his own body because he doesn't trust anybody else, right? Because people might use the.
I feel as though you're onto something, but I kind of disagree with you. I think. Yeah, and I'm not saying this is my theory, but this was a theory of mine before. I believe that if I kind of think a little different, but I'm just kind of talking about a previous theory I had. I would have thought more so Sunny would have been Pluton because Sunny, he has the blueprints and he could have created. Yeah, Sunny.
Sunny is not a person; it's an inanimate object. Somebody can steal the Sunny and use it to kill a person. But we also
see that
Sunny has a soul.
But we've also seen that Pluton had blueprints, so that it's been stated that it is a ship. Now I don't believe that I do believe that there may be some room that it may not be a ship. I do kind of that's kind of my thinking now. But it's been explicitly said that Pluton has been a ship, and there was blueprints.
Yeah, it was a ship. Yeah. It was a ship.
So Frankie, in knowing the blueprints to Pluton, in building Sunny, that would have made more sense than.
I mean, anyone can take control of the Sunny, but who can take control of Frankie, right?
So you got some Terminator stuff going on. Oda
Terminator. Frankie might consider himself one in his battleship. So that's sort of like the combination of both those theories in one. It showed when
it might be like Megas XLR, like Megas.
I don't believe Frankie is strong enough to be able to be able to withstand the arsenal that's something that can destroy an island, right? Like you got to be able to withstand that much that level of offense.
You got to take what you can take.
Yeah. A ship now, such as the Sunny, which has a beam in front of it, which could be the destructive part. That would be more.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think during the whole Aries lobby arc, Frankie was talking about how nobody can trust. Should have a weapon like this because it cannot be trusted, and anybody can misuse any object, right? But they can misuse a person.
That don't mean anybody could just use the Pluton just because it's a ship. Like maybe you need a key to it. Maybe you need to be able to activate it.
Yeah, remember Sunisha, he committed a crime, right? So people can misuse Sunisha. Why can't they misuse Pluton?
They could. I agree with that, but they could misuse Shirahoshi. You could get a hold of Shirahoshi. You could get a hold of Frankie. Right?
No, Shirahoshi's a person. Shirahoshi doesn't want to.
And I get that, but you could get a hold of her, right? You could.
You can get a hold of a person, but they can enforce it.
If you have a way of, they have, so if you have a means to control people.
Who has that mind control? Does anyone have mind control abilities so far?
Eric, question real quick.
Yeah. We'll end that, and then we'll move on to Big Mom versus.
What y'all think happened to Drake, man?
Yeah, Drake sucks, man. Drake.
He stabbed Scarpa.
I think he's working on an album right now.
Even when Kanye went crazy, Drake couldn't.
It's gonna be Jurassic.
Kanye was Drake's biggest rival. He went crazy and married a Kardashian.
I'm just saying, he popped up out of nowhere, stabbed dude, and then dude grabbed Luffy. I'm like, whoa.
Drake and Apu, they're
I think
trash.
he's down.
Can we agree down Drake
too?
And see, listen, the reason why I said that is if Drake is down, then Drake is the person Hawkins was talking about. Like, down.
Drake is trash. It's more like the Drake from Drake and Joshua than the album.
Okay, I'm gonna mute it real quick so I can read some stuff from chat, and then we'll move on to Big Mom versus Long Kid. Okay. All right. We have from Desnes. He has his idea on what Pluton can be. He puts Wano as Pluton, god of wealth in the underworld. I could see that. It has been referred to as a gold city. That's one. And two, that ties into my Red Sea theory, because I think the Red Sea is, underground magma. Wano has a volcano. The Onis, like Oars and Kaido, have an infatuation with Wano and stuff. So I like that idea. In an entire island being Pluton. I mean, if this one guy was a continent puller, and if maybe one of the oars played a big role in the ancient kingdom, yeah, I could see that. Next, he says, I think this whole experience with the Grim Reaper is all in Zoro's mind. Like in Thrillbark, he fights for his life and he fights for himself. Only he can win this alone. I like that idea. I do think whatever he's going through, it's going to force him to be alone, because he might get help in the real world from Chopper, Frankie, whoever, maybe even MVP Beppo. But at this point, whatever Zoro's going through, nobody's going to be able to help him out of it. Nobody's going to be able to basically wake him up. I don't think anybody mentioned Buggy's nose being the One Piece, but it's certainly possible. But yeah, I just want to take this time to say thank you to anybody watching, anybody in the chat, and thank you to you guys for joining me. This is a great conversation. I'm glad that we all have ideas. Nobody here is thinking alike. We're not all just agreeing with each other. We're building off of all of each other's ideas. So everything is turning out great, except for my technical difficulties, which you guys really brought the discussion. Okay. I believe you can unmute yourself.
Okay, what I was saying about the Buggy in the nose, I wasn't saying his nose was One Piece. I was saying he may have been so frustrated, like, oh, nobody's want to tell me where the treasure is. He went and found out and was disappointed and just left his nose there. And
I would think he would leave his hair there though.
Well, like I said, I didn't think about it until I realized when Alvida found him, he was on a whole nother island, far separated from his body. And it was like, why would Oda dedicate time to this? Like, why would you dedicate making it a point that he doesn't have to be near his stomach? He doesn't have to be near his legs.
I think he does though.
No, he was on two different islands.
Okay, man. Okay.
No, for real. It didn't hit me either until I was like, wait a minute.
Specified only his feet.
He had his feet in his hands, bro. Like, it was crazy. But even from him transitioning to Shishibukai.
Hey, Cube, you better put me at Blackbeard. I mean, not Blackbeard, Kaido. You better put me in Kaido, boy. No, I'm reading the chat.
No, you do. When he got to Shishibukai, it was like, still, he's got the red nose. He changed his appearance 3 times, and yet you could say, oh, he's Buggy the Clown, but still, we've never seen his nose, man. It could be somewhere.
I mean, it could be. I don't.
And then my thing with Shanks, because I'm gonna just go give it to you. My thing about Shanks, bro, is obviously Shanks got beef with the world government, or he did it one time to the point where he was comfortable enough to steal from and to make it an occurrence, that he could steal from. But when they were all like, Luffy was on that boat, and then Shanks was all the way on they was on the shore. Somehow he got from the shore to Luffy and gave up his arm. Okay.
Damn Cube.
You know what I'm saying?
Blackbeard. Go ahead.
And so by him giving up his arm, bro, like he has to know a higher level of hockey, like going into being able to see those other realms. You know what I'm saying? Like he has to be able to, or possibly be living in like that limbo area, or have been to that limbo area. Exclamation for how in the world Blackbeard could know how to take another fruit. You know what I mean?
They say he's muted now, and I'm not sure who they're talking about.
My Bluetooth.
Who are they talking about?
The whole stream just it should be fixed now. We've been going so long, my Bluetooth ran out of battery.
Hey, put one in the chat if y'all hear us now. Okay, they said now it's back. Cool. All right,
yeah, that was my thing about Blackbeard, was how in the heck does Blackbeard know how to take another person's fruit and use it? Like, unless, because they said he don't sleep. They said he don't sleep.
Yeah, I think
so. It's almost as if he's listening to whatever's in his head, telling him, "No, you need to go get this fruit. No, we need this fruit." No,
I think that might be Zebek, and I think Zebek is one of the personalities or souls within Blackbeard.
Yeah,
what I'm getting at is, I think Luffy and Blackbeard have a portion of Zebek's soul.
Yeah,
that's why they was doing that mimicry stuff when they first met each other.
I don't
know.
They were more almost like opposites though.
Almost like Shaman King. Almost like how Shaman King, how Yo and Ho was split into two. How Ho got split into two. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can't disagree with that one. I don't think Luffy got Zebek in him.
Well, they said Zebek acted a lot like Joy Boy and thought he was Joy Boy.
But they might have been similar.
He reached the Kaido ear.
Yo. There's a popular theory that, when Garp actually got Dragon, Dragon might be actually Zebek's son rather than his own son, because Dragon does not look anything like.
No, Cube. Stop with the Blackbeard, Cube.
I see a lot of people.
How many people think that?
I see a lot of people say Dragon could be this person's son, Dragon could be that person's son, and he's not Garp's son. But the one thing that doesn't make sense to me is, if Dragon wasn't Garp's son, why does Luffy look so much like Garp? Like, where's the, how convoluted they have to be? They have to be, Dragon's not Garp's son, but Luffy is the son of someone that is related to Garp, but isn't the son, and it's way too convoluted.
And Garp is just an older version of Luffy. If
they look too much alike.
No, they act just.
They act just like, bro.
They like when they met at Ennis Lobby and they both was arguing and then both fell asleep at the same time. Bro, they just alike, bro. They related.
When Garp picked up Kobe and them and decided to train them. Like, it was the same kind of mentality of how Luffy picks up somebody who wants to become better. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and someone could argue that's because Garp helped raise Luffy. But if you look at Garp when he was a kid, he looks just like Luffy. Like, there's no way they're not related.
I think it might be Garp's daughter that married Dragon, and they had.
Could be, but it'd be super convoluted.
Now I got a question too about this with the Joy Boy thing. You know, why is it when Luffy would go gear 3rd or go gear 4th or any of his gears, when he gasses out, basically, he always turned into like a kid version again, like a little boy. You know what I'm saying? Like
after 4th or 3rd.
Well, for instance, in the strong film, you know, after he did the giant foot and smashed Shiki, he turned into the little chibi form. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's before time.
It's a side effect. You know what I mean? But why is that a side effect of the gum fruit? Like,
it's a shonen trope.
Yeah, it's just
you have to put
like, is that a default or is it like?
I think it's just a way Oda had to showcase that this is a drawback, you know, and it's kind of like he's deflating, right? So if you deflate, you become almost the smallest version.
And I'm so glad you said deflate, because that is my thing. When Kaido hit Luffy in the state of Gear 4 with that
he deflated.
No, Kaido, it was drawn like a shock, you know, like when somebody's shocked in the manga, they draw the little light beam over there. It was almost as if Kaido was looking at something leave Luffy's body.
I think Kaido was more. I think Kaido was more shocked because
he told him, "Do you realize what you did?" You know what I'm saying?
But you said you said as
like if you look at the panel,
that was 2 different chapters though.
No, after when the Blumphgawd hits,
or those 2 different.
There's a panel of you can see like side of Kaido's face looking at the air leaving Luffy's body, almost like he saw the soul.
And what I'm saying is that moment when he was watching air, I think he was still under that shock that he pretty much just got cheated out of a victory, or he got cheated out of a fight. I think that's what that face was.
I think Kaido was an honorable fight.
It was literally like a repeat of Odin. Like that's why he was looking like I can't believe this is happening again. Like, you know. Yeah. And then later, that's when he was like, you know what you just did?
Kaido's gonna be happy when he sees him come back up rather than scared. I mean, everything is gonna be happy. He's gonna be ecstatic and he's gonna realize that he is special or something, or he's gonna be glad you got up. That means
I think it's starting to cut in and out for you.
Yeah, it's been cutting in and out for me with Aces. It's big, like the volume just goes in and out. It's hard to.
It's getting hard to hear you.
I feel like like I don't know how y'all been hearing them, and I've been struggling to hear because it's like been cutting in and out for me the whole time.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. It's just cutting in and out.
I what you're saying.
Okay. How about now?
That sounds better.
That's not better?
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What chapter are we
on? Okay, we're talking about Kaido versus Luffy, but we hadn't really even talked about Big Mom and Law. And if we don't have Kid, can't forget about Kid.
Nah, don't do it.
You don't have much to say about it. That's fine. We can move on. I just want to know if there's anything.
No. I think it was real cool that Kid could put the negative and positive poles on to people. That he could stamp that, because it's like he could take that his devil fruit ability and apply it to objects.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is Oda showing us that he can apply his devil fruit to objects now?
Like non-metal objects.
But
also,
not right, exactly.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that how Oda showcases a character's personality with his devil fruit. Like Kid's devil fruit, it's like anything that gets broken, he can piece it back together and get stronger. Right? That's basically Kid's journey so far in the One Piece world. He gets broken apart, gets back, and he gets stronger every time. Doesn't break down completely.
Yeah, that's a nice observation. I do see that with a lot of characters, like Doflamingo. He's a very manipulative person, and his devil can literally manipulate people.
But I think Kid got over his rivalry with Luffy though during
that. Luffy always bounces back, and he has to go through, right?
Yeah, that's why I said what I said about Law, bro. I know it don't seem like he might give his life for him, but if Kid came around, you know, and if that may be an ability to make people come around,
there's a difference between people coming around to you and people just willing to just sacrifice their life and everything they got going on.
I think
in life. That's one's like, okay, one's reasonable. Like me and you could be bitter enemies, but we could eventually learn to cope and forgive each other for stuff we've done. But that don't mean you gotta play because Law won't let it go. I know. Hold on. I know there's people I might know like personally all my life and been cool with. That don't mean they're gonna die for me, especially if they got stuff like kids. They got other responsibilities, like or in dreams and stuff that they're going for. That's two different things.
But what is Law's dream?
It doesn't matter. It's not about his dream. It's about he has responsibilities. He has a crew to take care of. Now, what happens when they don't have a captain? Because their captain right now, though. Just go sacrifice his life for another captain
right now, though. Huh? They all in the water right. They ain't even in the fight right now. They safe.
Hey,
sorry. Hey, can I explain something?
Not all.
I think Law's ability is basically he's sadistic. That's the nature of his devil fruit. Sadistic. Like a death surgeon. He's sadistic and crazy. That's something that came from his devil fruit. He always bounces back.
And when you look at Law, he still looks at Luffy as a rival.
Yeah. Nah, he
made a point.
They made that a point. Yeah.
So I did reviews of some chapters sometimes. I don't do it often, but there was this one week when I reviewed the chapter where Luffy and them showed up on the roof, and I made a point, and I kind of like made it as a joke. I was like saying how Luffy was bossing around Law, and then in the next chapter, Oda had Law say, "Hey, you didn't tell me to do that. I was gonna do that anyway." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So Oda's he has that in mind. He's not sitting here trying to make Law a crew member. He's aware of the fact that they really shouldn't be as buddy as the fandom thinks they are. And I think he's trying at certain points to really point out that no, Law still respects himself as a captain. He's not really trying to bend the knee to Luffy. But I think Kid bent the knee though.
But I will agree with you with this. In the right situation, yes, I agree. It could happen. If it was like a situation where it's either Law has to sacrifice himself or they're just going to all die anyway. For Law, it's kind of a lose-lose situation anyway. So if you gotta die, you might as well at least make it to where your allies have a chance. So in that type of case, I agree with you. You know, but it has to get to that type of case. I don't think we're there just yet. Well, I mean, I guess we kind of are if Luffy's dead.
See, that was the thing. Anything that I say, man, listen, I'm going by a week-to-week basis because I'll have a mindset that we go in one direction, and then I read a chapter, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Why is that even a panel? Wait a minute. Like, what?
That's the masterful Oda writing.
Because you also got to think about it, like, death is very permanent, right? Like, you could be defeated and still have an option to bounce back. Like, so just because they're on the brink of defeat, that don't mean like as long as Kaido don't up and like, you know, I'm killing all of y'all, then okay, then you definitely want to give y'all some a fight
for the will of man. I think Shanks might have conquered death.
Better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
That's way better.
Hey man. Okay. So as I was saying, like,
oh man, yeah.
All the
man, you should have been did this.
What you did different, dude?
This whole time I've been struggling to hear. Now you all clear. You should have been did this.
Okay, so I believe that all characters are basically a reflection of the devil fruit, like Kid, and I think Law's devil fruit basically makes him more sadistic. Like, you know, he can do a lot of fucked up things because he can cut people up and stuff. So you need to be a little messed up to be that. And Luffy, his nature is basically from his devil fruit he always bounces back, right? That's his ability.
Let me ask you this. Well, is Kizaru's devil fruit? How's that a reflection? Because he's like the complete opposite. He's like the complete opposite.
Yeah, he's like
he do.
He's lightheaded. Like, he doesn't care for anything. He's lightheaded, stuff like that.
He moves slow though. He moves slow compared to moving. It's like he thinks slow compared to how his body moves.
Yeah.
I think that was more of a nerf for Oda though. Like he had to give
he had to like
balance.
make it like less noticeable. Like, but I think that all characters are basically a reflection on the devil fruits.
Which that would explain how when Alvida ate the slim fruit or the slick fruit, how she got skinny so fast. Like that would explain that she basically kind of turned into her devil fruit.
Yeah, she's more confident. She thinks of herself more active, like stuff like that.
Because when she's first introduced, she looks like an ogre, an oni. You know what I'm saying? Like got the club and everything,
like a fat old lady.
But hey, I ain't gonna hold you. Something else that was in one of the chapters, bro, when they do the flashback on Big Mom, hey, she was all right now. I ain't gonna hold you. She was looking all right now.
She's a lot older now, no.
I'm just saying, in that flashback, bro, that flashback, I was like, yo, wait a minute. That's Big Mom?
All right, Eliz, what we got?
Okay. We talked about Kid. Now let's talk about Law. The thing that really stood out to me was two things. One, he kept on using a fluid aura on his sword. And that's really sticks out to me because I have this chakra theory. And I say that there's 3 levels of armament. Root, which is earth, like armament, the black coating. Sacral, which is water, not literal water, but fluid aura. And 2 is the fire. It's called the solar plexus fire. But I'm focusing on the sacral, which is water, fluid aura, and it does internal damage. This is something I said like 2 years ago. Now, look how Law's using his awakening. Fluid aura, internal damage, shockwaves. I mean, that's everything I said. I think.
Well, and that was the name of the attack, wasn't it? It was Shock. Was it Shock Willie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like just shockwave in German or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I saw that, it was just like, to me, it makes perfect sense because I think devil fruits are just hockey, but mastered. Think of it like Hunter x Hunter. They have Nen, which is just it's just energy. But if
I don't think that's the case.
you get Hatsu.
That's the case. Yeah. I think if that was the case, then people should be able to use haki since day one. Luffy wasn't able to use haki until after pre-time skip, right?
That's not entirely true, actually. If you go back,
when he fought Don
Blackbeard met him in Impel Down, and he said this. I'm gonna paraphrase, but he said, "Your haki got stronger since the last time I met you." Now, most people think, "Oh, he learned haki after the time skip," but Blackbeard was stating right then and there. Not only do you have haki now that I'm measuring, but you had haki back then. Also, haki is just an energy source. Everybody has haki. It's all about how you use it.
Yeah, I think they had haki since what, like I mean, okay, this might not be the best example, but remember Luffy? Remember dumb Luffy? Was it dumb Luffy or lazy Luffy when he fought Enel, right? And he just kind of lucid, he kind of limbered his body and just was like dodging.
That was an epic fight.
Now it took a level of precognition on Luffy's part to be able to dodge all them attacks. Like I know, yes, you could say like, it was just him emptying his mind, but he still was predicting some of those fights. So again, Zoro versus Mr. One, right?
Yeah.
The breath of not the voice for the breath of all things.
Yeah.
He was able to sense a rock falling, right? That's like a little bit. That's like a bit of a level of.
Well, I would go even further because like I think it is a possibility that there is a connection with Nami being able to predict storms before they come.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying it is, but because everybody has the opportunity of having access to haki, Nami displayed it a lot with predicting weather.
Has everyone here seen Hunter x Hunter?
Yeah, I have seen it.
So do you remember that
most
the girl who's really good at chess?
Ever.
She's not a hunter, she's not a fighter, but she could use Nen.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that it exists. It's a life force that exists in everyone. So if you argue, well, if you get a devil fruit, you should automatically have haki. well, the one thing to consider is they have Haki, and no matter what, it's a life force. But two, a devil fruit is a cheat code. So if you get the devil fruit and it gives you access to this Haki ability, you didn't do that. You didn't earn that. You just have access to it subconsciously. Doesn't mean you know how to do arm and observation of conquerors.
That's almost just the whole point I was making. Almost like you inherit whatever comes with that fruit.
Yeah.
I think there's this term I kind of created. Like I call it the voice of some things, right?
I like that.
And I call it that because it's not exactly just normal basic observation. I actually created like a couple days ago, honestly. But it's not like something like observation. It's similar, it's more like the voice of all things, but instead of you being able to hear the voice of all things, there's only certain things that people are attuned to, right? Like Zoro, he would probably be able to sense the will of a sword because he's highly in tune with swords. That's the frequency he works on. Sanji is highly in tune with women, right? With like especially women in danger. So he can hear the voice of women in danger that's not even within his vicinity, right? Nami, she is in tune with weather patterns and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Kobe's even was able to hear people, right? He might actually have the voice of all things. I could probably make an argument.
Kobe, man, that come up was gonna be epic. I'm so happy for that.
Man. I like what you're saying with that, because if, let's say devil fruits are a pathway, I mean, Haki is a pathway to get devil fruit. Well, why there's so many different devil fruits? Would there all be like some of the same? Well, it's because it's based off the individual. So you mentioned Sanji and women. Well, he uses fire. And I don't think it's just because he's a very passionate person, but he also cooks. He spends a lot of his life in front of fire because he's cooking constantly. So that's what you're saying, that frequeny.
Sanji
what you said earlier.
No, I don't think that's the case. I think it might be related to, like his passion, like, passion, the heart burns passionately. I think that might be something because he's a passionate lover, and I think that might translate into his abilities.
I think both can be true. It's combination of physical environment and who you are internally. I look at fishermen. Fishermen can do fisherman karate, manipulate water. I don't think it's coincidence that they also live literally in water. It has to do with both of them together.
Yeah.
You were saying that Luffy and Blackbeard were acting similar to one another. That could just be they're emanating a frequency that they could subconsciously detect within one another.
Yeah.
I think.
Can I speak on something about that? When you're done, I'll let you go. Just what you just said about Luffy and Blackbeard. I think with Luffy and Blackbeard, because I call Blackbeard anti-Luffy, right? Like I think Blackbeard might be the exact opposite of Luffy, but opposites also could be very similar. It's just they're opposites, right? So
they could be parallel.
Like if I go south, if I keep walking all the way south versus walking all the way north, I'll still get to the same spot long as I stay walking completely straight, right? So with Blackbeard, it's like their differences make them almost similar. Like they're so passionate with like when we first seen them, right? They was arguing about pie, right? Blackbeard loved pie. Luffy thought it was garbage, but they were both almost equal in their conviction of how they felt about pie, right?
Yeah.
They both had very strong.
Yeah, I think Oda
about pie.
This is a yin yang like thing that Oda wanted to make us realize. Like Luffy's yin, Blackbeard's yang. Like he wanted to show us that. Like two sides.
Blackbeard is literally yang because he's black.
Yami. He has the black. You know me.
I didn't mean to say that like race-wise, like Luffy's a white guy and Blackbeard's white. Or black.
Literally when he got the darkest fruit. It then nullifies other fruits. Like that was my thing.
I think how Blackbeard steals the abilities, I think it's something to do with like space time or something.
Yeah, but who taught him that though?
It didn't. It's a hit. I think that this is something that he found out through. I think he might be Zebek's son, or I think it might be something to do with something
or
inside
it
him.
could be, or he got just like Ichigo now. He could go inside his
Yeah,
head
because I
and
think
sit there and
it
talk.
was already established that he had a book of devil fruits like Sanji did, and he kind of knew about the Yami Yami no
But
more,
how
right?
did he get that book though?
That's
So
what I'm
Sanji
saying.
had
That's
that.
not
Told
I think,
him.
yeah,
that.
yeah. Sanji had that book too, so it's. I don't think it's
But
that.
Sanji's also, but like hear this, because somebody kind of explained. Because you're right. I'm not taking that. I would think that might be a very rare book, right? Sanji probably got it because his dad's a scientist that worked with Vegapunk, right?
No, I think he got it when he was working for Baratier. I think that was established during that
Oh,
Thriller Bark arc. I think.
the,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
I don't
somebody.
remember, but I don't
Yeah, I
remember
think it
when he
was
got
during
it.
Thriller Bark arc. Sanji was talking about him, like what reading the book while he
Oh
was.
yeah, to what's his name? Absalom.
Yeah. And he got super pissed, and then now we figure out he actually had the ability all along. He just didn't realize it.
To go invisible.
Yeah, but I think Sanji probably, like, though we seen him with it, I think he might have had it through his dad, because like
Yeah,
not
I think
many
Sanji
people,
holding
Yeah,
out.
I
Dude.
think. Yeah, I
not many
think.
people seem
I
like they
think.
got access to that book. That's for
Yeah,
I
I
think
sure.
think.
Sanji been holding
No,
out.
yeah,
I
yeah.
ain't
I
gonna
think
hold
you
you.
might be onto something. I think all the kids. I think they have the abilities. I think the technology just basically boosts that ability to make it a lot more stronger than it is.
Yeah.
Nah, I think
I,
Sanji been holding out since, because ever since the
Yeah,
Dressrosa arc, it was like you
yeah,
don't really know what Sanji's willing to do because he left. That was evident. He left.
yeah. I think Oda kind of missed a shot with turning Sanji into a bad guy. I think if he did that, I think that
No,
would.
with the
nah,
Vince smokes getting
that would
caught
have been
and
that
getting
would have been a
put
horrible decision for
with the
Oda,
Vince
because
Yeah,
smokes
but
people.
getting
it would have
caught
been
though.
interesting as a character development, like Sanji becoming evil, but people didn't realize it, and I think it would have been something we could explore more in the later
But I think
arcs.
Sanji has had access to books and education
Yeah, I think
that
him and
nobody else
Zoro,
did.
because I think that there was a confrontation that Zoro and he had to have, and I
Well, when
think this.
Sanji was a kid, he read when he had the mask over his face and the iron. He read about the all blue. When he got to the Baratier, he was telling people, no, he's seen pictures and books and stuff, and they was like, nah, man, that's a myth. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I think, like he's saying, due to the having the access with Vegapunk, they have verified knowledge of this
Yeah,
stuff
but here's the
existing.
thing. I Let the flashback show them in like chef's clothes and everything. Correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe I'm, but whatever. Okay, let's move on to like the next point. Like,
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
About Blackbeard, I forgot there was something I was gonna say about Blackbeard, bro. I
The
forgot.
personality.
Oh yeah, the
yeah,
personality thing. Like, I think
this,
that might be Zebek personally. I think that
I
might be
think. Do you
Zebek.
think the Jolly Roger has something to do with him?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The
I
Jolly
look.
Roger.
Let's talk about Blackbeard real quick. Blackbeard has a very strong theme of threes, right? We got is Jolly Roger threes. He keeps 3 pistols with him. If you know anything about, like, a lot of the characters are based on animals. Mihawk, eagles or hawks, boa Hancock snakes, Kuma bear, whatever. Blackbeard's animal is a hippo. A hippo has 3 stomachs. Like, they have 3 chamber stomachs or some along that line. So now I'm not sitting here saying he has the hippo devil fruit, even though that was a theory of mine before.
He probably had 3 people in him though.
Yeah, but I do think
Who do you
that
think the 3
he has
people are?
I think he
one
has
might be Zebek,
a Demon 3.
one might be Zebek, the
Yeah.
other 2 might be, let's see. Who might it be? I think it might be one of the more dangerous people from the past, right? Like more dangerous than Zebek.
It might be somebody we haven't been introduced to yet.
Or somebody from Garp's time.
That's a tough question to ask, I think
Because if it's them, like remember that chapter, I think the 3 thing, I think Oda might be misdirecting us with that. I don't think that that's 3 souls in him. I think it might be related to something else. Rather, there's 3 split personalities rather than 3 people.
I
Maybe
don't want.
can I
But I
explain something?
don't. Well, yeah.
There
I
might
just
be
don't
3
want
split
Kaido to get
personalities. One
disturbed.
might be a fraidy cat, One might be cunning, and the other might be super strong, like crazy. I think he might have three different personalities in him. I think that's what the three skulls represent, rather than like souls being inside him.
Right. So
I
is
think
because
that might
that
be
would give
something
clarity. That would give clarity to how he could
yeah,
have
I
more
think
than one
that might
fruit.
be also cleared up in the next chapter with Luffy and the Joybay thing, rather than there being a soul inside of him of
I
this
don't.
Joybay guy.
I don't know if I
There might
think
be a different
Luffy and
personality inside him.
I don't know
That
if
makes
Luffy and Blackbeard or their situations are the same though.
Yeah, because remember, Luffy and Blackbeard same size of the different coin. I think that was a like something
I
old
get
hero
that, but
said.
I'm saying I don't think like I think Blackbeard is just super unique. You know, like I don't think Luffy like I could get what y'all say, like maybe personality, but I think Blackbeard is
Yeah,
just super.
But
and
Blackbeard running
there
away
are
from
cases
Shanks
in real
though.
life of personality disorders between people. Like there was like I think on Netflix or Amazon or somewhere, there's a killer with 64 personalities or something inside of it. Like there might be people who are like that in real life. So Oda might take inspiration.
Could be. Could be. But hey, didn't okay. So the scar on Shanks' face, that came from Blackbeard, right?
Yeah, that came from
Okay.
Blackbeard, but somebody inside of Blackbeard that we haven't seen before. I
Right.
think that might be the third person. I
Right.
think we have seen two personalities so far. One is the Freddy cat, and the other one is this cocky, arrogant guy. I think there's a third personality that is the strongest, and we haven't seen that one yet.
And it was from there that I was like, okay, Shanks got to be like, if Blackbeard is running from Shanks, that
Like,
means hmm?
yeah, go ahead.
I
No, I
don't
was
think at
saying
this
like,
point he is though. I think right now he's just like
Yeah, I think that
well,
personality.
Blackbeard's got people there at Wano. In that color spread, the giant from Blackbeard's crew was hiding as a mountain in the color spread with I think it was Wally when it was like, "Where's Waldo?" That color spread. When they were showing the
What
whole
chapter was
whole.
that, man?
Let's
So
see.
where's Waldo? Man, that was a while ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago. But in that color spread, you can see the big giant that's wearing the stripes from his, yeah.
Sunjin
Yeah,
Wolford.
he was like hiding as a mountain. So I think if Blackbeard does get another fruit, I don't know what it'll be, but if he does, then there has to be some kind of credibility to either the three different personalities give a person the access to have three different fruits, because he's the only one we know of that has two different fruits and it's still fully functioning. But
I
with
think
the
how
person,
he gets them. That's what I wanted to talk about.
yeah,
How he gets them. Because I thought that's what you pointed out. I think how he gets them is with that knife. Like there's this knife that Jesus Burgess had, right? Back in Dressrosa. Jesus Burgess had this knife ready to he seen Luffy. You know, he was going to try to take Luffy's devil fruit.
That's what
he was going to try to take Sowell's. And the whole time he was using his knife like
There was an
that was the
official
key
collab
to
between
pretty
Where's
much
Waldo.
get this devil fruit from whoever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got it, Ace. Yeah, it was that color spread.
Yeah.
But do you think that knife could have to be coated in some kind of form of hockey in order to extract?
Could be awakening too.
I don't know. It just may be a special knife. You know
Like how Big Mom, when she
I don't know
uses
exactly
soul fruit, she can pull.
Elijah, I kind of want your take on it. Do you think Luffy and Blackbeard it's personalities or there's a soul inside them? What's your take on it, man?
So first thing I'll say is about their connection to each other, Luffy and Blackbeard. There's this term known as the Horseshoe Effect, where two things can be so opposite that they're similar, like Shawn was saying. An example of this is, think of a very liberal feminist and a super conservative, let's say religious, like they're Catholic or Islam or something like that. Someone that's a super liberal feminist may look at someone that's a woman that's not very well dressed and think, oh, she needs to be dressed because this is toxic patriarchy. It's like, put some clothes on this woman. And then you have the super conservative person like, put some clothes on this woman. This is so immodest. That's an example of horseshoe effect, where they're opposites, but somehow they come to the same conclusion. So with Luffy and Blackbeard, I think there is some credence to them being so different that they can't actually be similar to one another. Now, about them having multiple souls or anything among that area, I don't think Luffy would have inherently multiple souls in him. Could he have multiple uh, consciousness or will in him because of his double fruit? I think that's possible. I think that's possible for anybody who has a double fruit, because my whole theory is that double fruits can come from people who originally existed. Blackbeard, I think, is a different case, and it's sort of along the same lines, where if he consciously knows that devil fruits are wills of their own that attach themselves to someone with a will, and they sort of intertwine, and that's why you can't have two, because you can't have
conflicting
three different wills intertwining.
Yeah.
But if he actually has more than one soul, or even just more than one consciousness, he maybe has split personality like Cavendish, then in that case, I could see him being able to be capable of having more than one devil fruit. But it may not even be as simple as that, and that's why he still needed the Yami Yami no Mi. But the reason he knows more than he should probably has to do with some kind of spiritual influence entering his body.
That's so you're saying because Blackbeard has two devil fruits, you think that there's two souls inside of him instead of one?
Two, could be three. Maybe he's just waiting for one more fruit. I think it has to do either he has a split soul, not just a split personality, but his entire soul, like his heart. I think that's the best word to use. I think your heart.
I think this might be something Mother Carmel might have something to do with that. Who knows? Maybe she met Teach when he was a kid, and maybe she did some shit to him when he was a baby.
Can I say something though about this?
Yeah.
I think personally about the whole souls and personalities thing, I think a lot of people get too caught up in the semantics of the differences. Because when I say three different souls, in a sense, I mean personalities. I mean three different wills, right? Three different wills driving the same body, right? Whether you want to call it a soul, whether you want to call it a personality. Now, yes, like souls are different from just a personality. I get that. But I'm saying he has three different wills, because if you have two separate personalities, your will on each personality is going to be different. Like one personality might be violent and one personality might be peacekeeping, right? That's two separate wills. You know, when you're violent or when you're peacekeeping, you don't want to be violent, you know what I'm saying? But you have something that's completely exactly opposite that's driving you to make these actions that's completely different from. So I think y'all kind of get a lot really caught up in the semantics of me saying like, yeah, it's a soul in this person. No. You know, now Joy Boy, I think that's a different soul that's actually driving Luffy's body. That's not normally there, right?
But could Zebek have splitted his personalities and one of them become Luffy and one of them go to Black? Well, not really, because Luffy's way younger than Blackbeard, so no. I get it. No, I get it.
Yeah. I think in the context of the story, I don't mean like, you know, like I get, yeah, there's different semantics between having multiple personalities and multiple souls. I get that. But more so, I'm talking about there's three different wills driving Blackbeard, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I believe that because that's real evident. That because even like when he showed up with the three pistols,
I think that there might actually be devil fruit responsible to turn Blackbeard into this. I think maybe Mother Carmel was part of Blackbeard's actually no, I think Zebek was alive when Big Mom was still a young person. I think Zebek was still a kid, so maybe Big Mom had something to do with it.
About what?
Big Mom, Zebek was on his death door. He asked Big Mom, "Yo, Lillian, do me a favor. Put my soul into this kid's body."
I actually said something along that line. Like I remember.
I said, I never thought about that.
I said something along the line like, "What if Big Mom?"
Roger beat the shit out of him. He was on his death door.
Now I don't know if that's the case though, but I've said some.
But she couldn't do that.
Yeah, I could see
And
that
then
happen.
there might be a third person in God's Valley that he did that. Who might be the third person that Big Mom saved? I think Roger Zebek might have a right hand because we don't know who his right hand was. We knew
Right.
Big Mom, Whitebeard, and Kaido. They were all part of his crew, but we didn't know who his right hand was specifically. Right? Maybe the third
Shoot.
person might actually be his right hand.
What if his right hand was Roger?
What the fuck? I mean,
Okay, so
Roger
I
was guilty.
predicted that Whitebeard was in the Rock's crew because this was my rationale. It didn't come out to be true. The only thing that was true is I predicted Whitebeard. But I thought to myself, what if Rocks, because we didn't know it was Zebek back then. We just knew Rocks pirate.
Yeah.
And I said, what if Rocks was related to Goldie Roger? What if his name was Goldie Rocks and he had three bears? Papa Bear, everybody calls Whitebeard's father, Mama Bear, I mean that's self-explanatory, and then Baby Bear because Kaido was the youngest. So I just came up with that idea. And I even said, but then Rocks and Garp worked together to betray him. If I had a YouTube channel back then, people could go back and see that I made that theory. They'd be like, whoa, how'd you come up with that? But that's what inspired me to make a YouTube channel because that's was one of the first theories that I got right, where I was like, oh, I could actually do this. Yeah. And I have been doing pretty good. I mean,
oh no, dude, your
Sun
chakra
God
videos
before.
ain't nobody touching them chakra videos. That's what caught me. It was like, bro, like he sees the spiritual side going on in this shonen art.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
bro.
Old Man Hio was talking about Luffy being like his forms being like similar to like ancient Buddhist gods or something. Like I don't remember which chapter it was, but Hio was talking about Luffy's gear forms as in some deities, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the Mio, the Wisdom Kings.
Yeah, and I think that you did a video explaining that Luffy's gears were like that, right?
Yeah, along those lines. Even the Nightmare Luffy thing, I said I think Luffy's body is going to become a vessel for a spirit, and now look.
Yeah, no,
I
distinctly remember.
I may not get it exactly right, but I think I can predict things along the lines at least.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all this though. What y'all think about the triplet theory?
What?
Oh, the unborn,
the triplet,
two unborn babies in one body, or something like that.
Well, I mean, I guess I haven't heard that one.
Elaborate on the theory, because
all right, I'm about to. So there's an idea that Blackbeard is like, okay, there were three brothers that were triplets, right? Mm-hmm. Blackbeard was part of this triplet. So the point of the theory is that this whole time is really three, like Blackbeard has two brothers that work with him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's now, like two unborn.
Now, my biggest argument against this idea, right, is when he got on Whitebeard's ship, he didn't have the, like, to me, what would make sense is the Yami Yami no Mi being what hides the other two brothers. Like maybe they hide inside his body through the Yami Yami no Mi, right? But before he got it, where were they? Was they hiding in Whitebeard's ship, just avoiding stuff, and every once in a while they take over
the voices that he was
for
hearing.
Me to like, can I just interject? Before Blackbeard ate the Yami Yami, he like scratched Shanks. So I think that he had that ability way before he ate the Yami Yami no Mi.
Because he scratched Shanks.
Yeah, he when he put the scar on Shanks's face, he didn't have the devil fruit then.
He was still a rookie, I think.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm saying what ability?
I don't think it's an ability. I think Big Mom did some shit to him.
No, I didn't say it was an ability. What about the triplet thing? My thing was now I think there's a conjoined one. What was the theory you said? What was the triplet part aspect of it, Elids? About conjoined them being conjoined?
Not about them being conjoined, but just being like two unborn. There was like two unborn siblings now like attached to Blackbeard. That's why he has three different things going on.
Like within the inside?
I don't know, physically or spiritually. I didn't look too much into the theory, but it was along those lines.
So yeah, and that's why I say he didn't always have the Yami Yami no Mi. So at that point, now I always looked at it as them being separate, like I didn't hear the conjoined one. But if they were all separated, like the other two would be hiding and they had take turns sleeping and all that stuff. But I mean, there's people
that would explain why nobody ever saw him sleep.
Yeah, there's people who explain it better than I do. That's not my theory. That's not really the theory I subscribe to, but it's a theory out there that explains
everything's on the table with One Piece, man. That's the beauty of One Piece. Is like,
yeah, right.
Like, it's a world.
There's link. I'm setting it right now.
But like when he gets the Yami Yami no Mi, and if he had like two brothers, right, that's when he can actually keep them within his body versus having each of them having to hide every time, But my thing about that argument is like, how has nobody ever caught them, right? Like you would think you go through that long, somebody would have caught you.
The fan theory going around stating that the three skulls indicates three different people, probably Blackbeard's brother. That explains why he has two different devil fruits. He's holding them in one single body. Maybe with the help of even so, when Blackbeard was in Whitebeard's pirate, but all theories back in this year, he doesn't sleep. I don't think there's any good explanation yet. There's one that's connecting him with Cerberus, but that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. But
check out that link you dropped in, Ace.
What else we got though with the chapter? Because I probably won't be on here too much longer because I had a stream before this one, so like I literally hopped off the stream. I literally just finished the stream right before this stream started.
Yeah, that blanket
is for sure. Okay.
There was something I wanted to talk about, right? That I don't think we've talked about yet, right?
Yeah.
Kozumbo. I think that was the name. Kozumbo. Yeah. The thing that Kandro created.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
like what do you think that was? Because I think that it was an ink blob, right? I think that Kozumbo was an ink blob because it makes sense with.
Well, before I say anything, did Big Mom touch it? Did she touch Kozumbo? Did Big Mom actually touch it?
Yeah, something happened. I cannot figure out.
Before I say this, I've
looked at it so many times. I can't.
But real quick, let me finish. Let me finish my thought. Yeah. I think that since, like at first, I thought it was apparition because if you look what Kozumbo is, like you Google it, it's like a Japanese apparition of I forget what, like of somebody who had regret or something. I can't remember.
Which would be Kanjuro.
Kanjuro, I think, put the rest of his life force within like his ink, right? Because we know that that's pretty much his devil fruit, like it's to produce ink. So I think because if you look at Kozumbo, he looks like an ink blob, right? He kind of looked like an ink blob. So it would make sense that which I don't know how ink would be able to phase through floors. So maybe that is kind of
I think my theory is the one that makes sense. Like Big Mom found Zebek on Death's door and basically did him a favor putting.
I didn't. That piece when you said that, I was like, I could see Zebek asking her to do that because Big Roger. Mom, it was evident in the flashback.
Have people in her favor, right?
Right, because she still doesn't know what the One Piece is. You know what I'm saying?
And she thought that keeping Zebek alive would help her out in the future, and she thought since he'll do this for Zebek, he'll owe her in the future.
Now with the Kanjuro thing and the Kozumbo block, okay, if like I said, it hasn't been confirmed, but if Big Mom did touch the blob, she either pulled something or gave something. Okay, that one of those two happened. But as well as Kanjuro had had so much regret that he could have turned into the source material for devil fruits. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like him, because he was so in tune with his art, with his fruit. You know what I'm saying? That he took that on, and whatever Kozumbo represents, that's what they use to put into to create the fruits. So the fruits have powers and pass along. You know what I mean?
Interesting you say that. First thing I would say is a shout out to Best Generation because I just saw that stream that you were on. That was a great video. And he talked about the swirls, which is, I'm going to definitely bring that up. The swirls are very important. Chakra means wheels. It's all about rotation. That's what chakra actually means. So you best believe I'm going to mention that and understand and walking part 4. But the reason I bring up the swirls in relation to art and devil fruit is because there was that one girl who is able to use art in Baroque works. I forgot what her name was. She was Miss somebody.
Was it Miss? It was Miss Friday, not Miss Friday. I'll look it up. She was with Mr. 3, right?
Yeah, Mr. 3's partner. She's one of the very few characters who we don't understand how her powers work. It's not devil fruit, yet she has powers. And she uses swirls and she uses art. So I do think there's a connection between art and devil fruit. I think there's a connection between devil fruits and passion, art, music, a lot of those things.
Mm-hmm. Miss Golden.
That's it. What is Kozembo, you ask? Well, it's not like I know for sure.
I'm saying, what do you
But
think?
if you look at Kozembo, he looks a lot like those homies back on Whole Cake Island who were pure soul. And they would go around and collecting everybody's souls like taxes. He looks just like that, but with fire. So what does that tell you? I mean, he's basically a soul without form, without a body.
Yeah.
And also, he's made of fire. And just like Best Generation talked about in that video, just like I said in the Red Sea theory, that question Oda gave to that guy who asked about why Sanji's pants don't ignite or how come Sanji can survive the fire, it has to do with the fire in your soul, fire in your heart. You know, just like Ace was saying earlier, you know, couldn't Sanji's fire just be his passion? I think it is. So that's what that was. It's really his soul. It's like a representation of his soul. That's what I think.
Both his soul and also his Valerian DNA. You know, because
that could be possible.
Because King and Sanji, they're same race, as I recall.
Well, we don't know that for sure yet.
Yeah, I mean,
I was gonna say,
it's already
Sanji's more like his brother.
Yeah, Sanji's Lunarian. I mean, Queen confirmed it.
No, Queen never said for sure. He just said, "How come you can do that like Lunarians can?" But he never said you have Lunarian DNA.
I mean, that's Oda have to come out. Sanji is a Lunarian.
Yeah, man, that's Oda, man.
Hey, so
that's why he the gold.
Hey Don, I wanted to tell you.
You have to read between the lines here. Like if it's like above 80%, you have to take that as probable fact unless there's more additional information that this proves that.
Hey, so I look back at the chapter with Big Mom when she was falling through the hole. It don't look like she touched Cosmo, right? Like she fell through the floor, she arrived, and then she reached for something.
She reached out.
And then she like her arm went through one of the bombs, right? And then Yamato yells, and then there's like this big explosion. And that explosion kind of like blows Cosmo away. Yamato kind of used like a piece of the floor to shield herself.
Right.
And so then could Cosmo kind of shrinks.
But could Cosmo go into an object? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And possess an object, or is that the state they have to be in to possess a fruit? You know.
I disagree with Eliz on it being like a homie. I personally think it's Ink Blob because it makes sense for Cosmo's devil fruit, and the fact that he was like so passionate is almost like it to a degree. It is. I do believe it's a soul, but I believe it's a soul that his ink gave a body to.
And it is the Fire Festival is going on
because he doesn't have the soul devil fruit.
Yeah,
I just mean to show that is what it represents. It definitely represents his soul. It's not just like a tiger he can create. Like that has to do with who his soul inside.
I also have a question, guys. Do you think inner will is something that plays a huge part in the One Piece story? Really confidence in yourself? Because I think that might be a contributing factor in all the guys who have conquered Haki. It's that their own belief in themselves is how strong their conquers Haki and conqueror spirit is. Right?
Well, yeah, no, I totally agree. Because after they conquer death, what's next to conquer? You know what I'm saying? If you conquer death, you know what is next to conquer?
For Zoro, it's sense of direction. For Sanji, it's being a sim.
I'm just saying that if your own inner will or your confidence in yourself correlates with how much power you actually have, I think. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's the basis of hockey. Really, is your willpower.
All right, so what chapter we on now? We on
we can just in general just move on to Luffy versus Kaido.
What, from the beginning? From when they first fought?
No,
we go into when they on the top
chapter.
of the tower. Yeah.
I have to go to the toilet real quick.
I think 1041.
All right, yeah, 1041.
Hold on. Because we got 1041. That's when Zoe pretty much informs Momonosuke he's here. Yamato's and Momonosuke kind of have a conversation where
well, okay, right here
where he's pretty much Momonosuke is pretty much talking about like he says I'm not smart enough to understand if it would mean exposing the people to Wano to danger, I do not wish to open the borders. So he's kind of having like a conflict of,
and that's why I don't think he's gonna stay in Wano. It's because of stuff like that. I think he will travel with the crew. Because he still has doubts. He doesn't have that. Now, if the numbers turn out to be old retainers or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to help guide him, that's a different tangent. But throughout this chapter, it's a lot of Momo doubting his ability. Yeah, but he's pulling an island right now. Like I think
he'll get over that. He just needs a moment that's gonna snap him, like, because I think he needs to stay in Wano. Because you can't have the heir to the throne just leave again, right?
But his sister's there and she's older than him.
That's part of the reason why Wano got taken over in the first place, because Odin was, he was supposed to be next in line and do things, but he bounced, right? Now I get the whole Hiyori thing. People have said that, but I always kind of look at it like a cultural thing where they don't really like, especially if you got a man to and again, I'm not trying to sound sexist because this is more of a cultural thing in older cultures, right? They usually like to have a man be the heir to the throne. Mm-hmm. That's why they always stress, the king has to, he wants a son, he has to have a son, so I'm not saying Hiyori couldn't do it in his steed.
No, I don't think Hiyori
but I think it's kind of a culture thing that they might want Momonosuke to be part of.
No, I don't think Momo is gonna be in Wano. I think he's gonna follow Luffy along with the other girl. I forgot Tama, yeah. I think Tama and Momo, they both leave with Luffy, and I think Hiyori becomes Shogun of Wano. Because she's been here all the 20 years, she knows the struggles of her people, and I think if she takes his head, the shogun's head, she kind of automatically becomes the next shogun. I think that will be him. But I need to know like how Momo goes back to being a kid. Do you think like
he's not going back to being a kid?
No, I think that
his body doesn't have to be a kid. His mindset though, like. He's a giant dragon, but you know what I'm saying? He's still thinking like a kid.
Bro, when you've been doing as much stuff as Momonosuke has been, you pretty much is forced to grow up.
And you don't want to stay somewhere where you traumatized.
I mean, you guys do realize like he was just a little kid like a few months ago, and then flash forward now it's 20 years have gone, and now your entire country's gone to shit, and now you have to travel and find pirates to help you out defeating Kaido, and you don't know who to trust, and you're running away from so many people. I mean, Momo has been through the ringer, man. I mean, any kid would have like fallen. I mean, you should have given him a lot of props a lot before with the Wano War.
Well, I've given plenty of props to Momonosuke. I've really appreciated the evolution of Momonosuke that we've seen from the time where Kanjuro pretty much kidnapped him, and instead of crying, he pretty much like, hey, y'all just keep doing what y'all do. I'll find a way to escape, right? That was some growth right there, right? Yeah. Like he was a coward for Momo to pretty much say, look, y'all just focus on the mission and I'll figure out a way, even though he couldn't. Everybody knew like, nah, we're gonna have to save him. But he was at least brave enough to stay. That took bravery right there.
Now in 1041, do y'all think Kaido know what the One Piece is? Because when he goes into the tears of beer,
nobody knows. I think only 3 people got a hint. It was Dragon, Whitebeard, and Shanks. I think 3 of them got a hint, and 3 of them chose the person they thought was gonna be the one who's got the chosen person.
Okay, now that will give clarity to why Shanks chose Luffy when he was looking for Ace.
It's 3 brothers, so all the 3 brothers got chosen, right? Luffy, Sabo, and Ace by those 3 people. So, in a sense, maybe they were onto something, you know.
I think why Shanks chose Luffy was more what Luffy said, right? Like,
yeah.
Like totally and there's something that they constantly block out from Luffy saying, and they Luffy like Roger also said. Roger also said, hold on. Roger also said the same thing, but they blocked it out as well. So we don't know what Roger said. And then Luffy said something to Ace and Sabo. We don't know what he said. So I think whatever Luffy said to Shanks was pretty much like, he said the same, because I think he even told Rayleigh, or he told somebody, he was like, the boys said the same thing that our captain said or whatever. And that's pretty much what won Shanks over.
Can I interject? I think what Luffy said was what Roger and Luffy both said is they want to have a party, the entire world can join in, you know, the entire world can celebrate the one final feast, one giant feast for the entire world to take part in. I think,
yes,
after every arc, there's a
huge
feast, right?
I think that too.
But after every major arc, there's a huge feast, right? I think that Luffy wants a giant feast like the ones they had, but in a giant grand scale, so that the whole world can participate in it. I think that's his ultimate dream. Because Luffy isn't like, as I said before, he isn't a person who's in it for the money or the fame. He's in it to go on journeys.
Freedom.
Huh?
It was. I thought his thing was freedom. Not that freest, to be the freest man on the sea.
Yeah, not basically Luffy's entire point of going on a journey is basically to make friends, eat good food, and go on journeys. Basically, go on journeys with his friends and eat good food. He doesn't even care if One Piece isn't there, as long as the journey. If One Piece has just a note that says the journey was the treasure all along, Luffy would be all right with it. If One Piece was just
bust out laughing like Roger.
And because Luffy isn't about the money or the fame, he's about the journey and the meat. That's it. Journey and meat. That's the only thing he cares about.
This is what I want to ask. What are your takes on the gum fruit? I feel like I know Shawn and Ace's take, so I'm gonna ask Darth Luciano first. Do you think it is actually the gum fruit, or do you think that there's more to it? It's a different fruit.
Truthfully, I think that the fruit is tree resin. Because in that color spread, and I think it's 1030. I want to say, yeah, I think it's 1034, not 1034. But let's see. You know the color spread where there's a monkey with a king's crown pointing at tree sap. Yeah, it's a literal monkey with a crown on his head. Reference to the Monkey King pointing at tree sap. So resin can be hardened, it can be rubbery, it can be sticky, similar to Magellan, how when Luffy was fighting the poison, this could give credence to why when they first was arriving at Wano, Luffy could hear the tree. And it was like, why can't he hear trees and stuff? And so like also resin, it can be heated. And so there's so many things you can do with that tree sap and resin that it was like to have a Monkey King literally pointing to that. It was like, okay. And then the hair, the hair was drawn similar to how the trees were looking like sap or was looking melted. And so that's what made me think, okay, this is probably has more to do with the trees, and rubber in connection with what happened in real life history with the Congo and how the British Empire went to get,
Belgium.
and then how they did genocide to get rubber. So it was like Luffy to be an important natural resource would give credit to his ability. And the Gorosei being a government would be like, yeah, this guy's powers and ability is a natural resource. You know what I'm saying? So
I think it's completely different, actually.
But no, that's what I'm thinking it is right now.
I think that Luffy's abilities, that I think that if he awakens it, that's the thing that the world government's afraid of. I don't think that his regular fruit, I think it's not something people should be afraid of. They can easily beat it. But when he awakens, I think that's when it becomes unbeatable.
Well, when it's not awakened, it would be in a hard rubbery state like Luffy is normally. When it does awaken, it would go back to its root form, which would be extremely dangerous.
Natural rubber. It's natural rubber.
But Luffy has already displayed with Gear 3 and in multiple fights, like his fight with Lucci, that he can make his fist the big about the size of giants in Elbaf. Like it's evident he can do that.
That's actually when rubber inflates into something. It's not.
But with resin, with the resin, if you put air into it, it can inflate as well.
Yeah, but I think that it might. There was an SBS, and it's when person asks if Luffy's natural rubber or regular rubber. Oda said natural rubber. So
natural rubber. Now that would give credence.
Basically white liquid. It's a white liquid which you can turn into rubber. So white liquid is basically, it's a viscous material, right? So it's basically something that basically Luffy can turn into liquid, like a Logia fruit.
Similar to Katakuri. Why Katakuri was talking so down on Luffy, and Luffy was, like you said, Luffy has a knack for learning from his opponents.
I don't think Luffy learned anything from Katakuri.
Oh no, I think what we finna see displayed by Joy Boy, we're gonna get some mochi fists flying from the air, some liquid wheels. I'm telling you, like, because it's an opportunity.
I think
Luffy to go berserk.
What you said is
Joy Boy's fruit is Luffy's fruit. I think reason why the Yami Yami no Mi was so coveted was because it was Zebek's fruit. If it was anybody else's fruit, I don't think it would have been so coveted. Same with Ace's fruit. I think the more notorious you are, the more value your devil fruit has. And the reason why the Gomu Gomu no Mi is so notorious of being so valuable is because it was the world government's biggest enemy's devil fruit. It was Joy Boy's devil fruit. That is why the government wanted to keep this devil fruit a secret. They didn't want anyone to eat it or have it. So when Shanks stole it, he kind of knew what it was, but he never told anyone because he wanted Luffy to naturally earn that rather than knowing it and basically getting overconfident.
Okay, Shawn, what do you think?
Well, I don't think Shanks wanted Luffy to have that fruit because
I know.
They ain't sure it wasn't
would have chosen somebody else.
But I don't agree with the resin thing. If it's resin, it's, to me it'd be redundant to having like the mochi. Hold on. If it's resin, it would be redundant to the categories, the mochi devil fruit, or even what's the name who part of Da Flamingo crew. What's the name of the snot dude? Yeah. It would be kind of redundant to have like another devil fruit that's pretty much the same. Like it would be like, okay, his devil fruit evolved to Katakuri's devil fruit. What makes that special?
Oh, his fruit was superior to Katakuri. He just didn't know how to use it yet.
Well, I'm just saying it's still a little bit redundant in my opinion. So I don't think it's resin. I think it's one. I don't know for a fact. I'm not sure for a fact if it is indeed the devil fruit that the Gorosei was talking about. Could it be? I think it's been heavily applied that, so I'm not going to argue against that idea. I'm just saying I don't know for a fact, and I don't build theories off of. Well, I mean, I guess that we do. We all do kind of build theories off of speculation. So, without just disregard
we
what
all
I just
build
said.
our theories off of the source material. That's
I just don't know. I don't know for a fact if they were talking about Luffy's devil fruit, but. If it is something special, I think the specialness comes from the fact that it was Joy Boy's devil fruit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when Luffy pretty much awakened Joy Boy, possibly through death, that's why Joy Boy was immediately would have been able to awaken the Gummo Gummo no Mi, right? Like with little effort. Like we never seen Luffy do that until he pretty much died. And then, he comes back, or we see him alive again. He smiles, and then we see this goo coming down his face. So, and I think what that goo is just pretty much rubber. You know what I mean? Kind of like what Ace said, pretty much rubber in its purest form. Now, if it is something, if this devil fruit is indeed something that's not rubber, right? I would think it would be a little more, I guess, impressive than resin, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe a god, like a sun god devil fruit, or the Nika devil fruit, or whatever.
I think the answer is always.
But as far as his devil fruit, I don't know. But I'm gonna go with it's just the rubber being awakened. Until I get new information.
Natural rubber. I think it's natural rubber, man.
Yeah, that's what
I agree that
until we get new information.
Because let's look at Law for a second. He was able to replicate Corazon's power. So if it were to be a different devil fruit and it just be resin, it's like, well, why not just keep it the Gomu Gomu no Mi and just say that it could turn to resin? Like, if it's gonna be something different, it's like Shawn said, it should just be drastically different. There's not much point just making it something that's a little bit adjacent. It's like you might as well just keep it rubber at that point and just say that he has this extra ability. I mean, I made this Gear 5th Sun God, which I said he has fire, right? So he can heat up his rubber, and then it becomes more malleable. There you go. It doesn't have to be the resin in that situation. Yeah. He could just come up with a creative way as to why rubber can do more than just one thing.
Gear 4th level he didn't show anyone. People have been theorizing that all the time, but there was no final other Gear 4th.
The tiger or the
tiger shit.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, when I came out with my Gear 5th Sun
actually,
theory, I came across people.
It was actually Ellie's video that I first saw about that.
Yeah, I came up with my Gear 5th Sun Man video. There were so many people that would say, no, it's Tiger Man, without even like giving a reason. Just like, it's just Tiger Man. Now, fast forward to 1.5 years.
One Piece fans in a nutshell, right?
He's a sun god now. It's like, okay, where was that a year and a half ago?
I don't think it's
facts, so that's straight facts.
Yeah, One Piece fans in a nutshell. I think
Sun God is a person. I don't think you can become another person. I think you can have powers similar to that one.
Sengoku becomes Buddha.
Well, I'm glad you said
he becomes a Buddha statue.
No, a giant.
He's a Buddha.
A giant Buddha.
As a deity.
Yeah, what the
Luffy.
What's the difference?
You gotta throw the giant on this.
Sengoku becomes pretty much what we would consider a deity, right?
Yeah, I think Oda was trying to tell us Goku Buddha.
The sun god would definitely be a deity, right? In the One Piece universe.
So, yeah, he rub his belly.
It's not like this. It's not like it's never happened before.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I want to read the chat real quick. I'm gonna mute us while I just catch up on that. All right. So one person proposed, they said that Sanji's fire could just be Germa DNA. yeah, Cube said, you guys never thought it could be German DNA. It's possible, and I think Ace mentioned the Lunarian DNA and all, bloodline factors and all that stuff. Definitely possible. Me personally, I don't think it is because it's not as in line with Sanji's character, in my opinion, that something that's so close to his own abilities and his own achievement is credit to his family. I feel like some of it can be credited to him, and that's a part of him accepting his identity. But something like his trademark technique really being credited to his family, I don't think that does as much justice to Sanji's character. So that's my response to that. Desnes mentions that someone named Parvision has this concept called seed users, where there are people who turn into devil fruits when they die. I definitely have to look into that. That's very interesting. I basically have the same similar concept. I'm gonna get you right after. um, let's see. We know that Joy Boys and Luffy. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much confirmed at this point. And Blackbeard could equal Kraken. I haven't heard a lot. I think I've heard that in like passing. That's what I'm gonna move on to. Is I didn't really go into this yet, but before I do that, I want to ask Shawn what he was trying to say, and I also want to ask him how much time he has left before I show this theory about why it
Yeah,
is Luffy could be bendable but still be made of rubber. Because I know a lot of people took what Kaido said and thinks that,
Yeah, I think people
well,
took that just a little.
yeah, I think
Like
that's Oda's
it's like
misdirection. He did that on purpose.
if I take a rubber band and I did all that, you could do that with a rubber band. It's just I don't think it's that all out of the scope. But now all I was saying was like that theory about like devil fruits pretty much being made from like maybe dead people. I kind of believe, I kind of think like that could be the case with like people from the ancient kingdom, right? Like and Joy Boy, Joy Boy could have been among those, which ultimately created the Gummo Gummo no Mi. Which again, if there's anything special about the Gummo Gummo no Mi, I think it might be because it was Joy Boy's devil fruit,
or he could have just been the person who mastered that technique. And he became the Gum Gum Devil Fruit. Maybe Niku was alive 600 years ago and got his hands on
I
the devil
think
fruit that
that
was
there
worth
might
pinpoint.
actually be, trees are a huge thing in One Piece. I think there might actually be a gigantic double tree somewhere in
the Adam and
like
Eve is
Elbaf
probably the
or
most
somewhere. Like,
speculated.
yeah, I think
The,
that the devil foods they come from this special tree, and I think that this is related to how the celestial dragons stay young and everything. I think everything is connected to the devil tree and to Emu. I think that the tree, I think, is a tree of life or something, and this is what gives all the celestial dragons like internal life. I think because that is why they all whenever they come down to the human world they have to wear the spacesuit because they need to bring the air that is created from that tree because all trees create oxygen, so the oxygen produced by that tree might be special. That is why they save it in their tanks and they bring it down with them to the human world so that they can stay forever young. And did you remember like what's the Fishman Island arc? The celestial dragon that was wearing the spacesuit, where the one who was protected by the queen. Uh, after that, when he came back the second time to protect the fishman, he wasn't wearing that spacesuit and he was looking a lot older. You might actually notice that. So I think that that tree, the one is connected to like Emu and everyone. I think that's the devil tree. I think that's the place where you get all the devil fruits. That is why the world government can get as many devil fruits as they want because they have the main tree. You know.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think that's very likely. Trees have a lot of significance. They mentioned in the Sky Pier arc that like the Sky Queens used to worship the trees and their
And
ancestors'
fruits
spirits
come
came
from
there.
trees, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Shawn, do you have time for me to go over this theory and you give me your take on it?
I mean, I got some time. I got a bit of time. I probably won't stay anything past 9 though. Well, I mean, that's
Okay.
like 30 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
30 minutes at
This
most.
definitely won't take 30 minutes. All right. So basically, Kaido, I made this theory safe for anime watchers, but this really was in response to what Kaido was saying. He was like, in one chapter, he was like, "Oh, where all these punches come from?" And then in the next chapter, he blatantly said, "Hey, rubber shouldn't be able to do that." But here's the thing: does anybody ask why a human being can literally walk on air? Why a human being can stab
Bro,
someone with their
exactly.
finger?
Like, bro, like
Yeah.
that's exactly the same
Yeah.
reason why I don't take stuff like that serious. Like we
Yeah.
got we had Kaku, who was a
Mhm.
giraffe,
Yeah.
doing stuff outside of a scope of a giraffe. Nobody's sitting here saying, "Oh, there's
Exactly.
some crazy thing going on." Or who else? Who else? It was in a recent chapter. It was what's the name? The bronchi, not the Triceratops,
Yeah,
Sasaki.
Sasaki.
He's using his little flan thing or whatever you call it
Mhm.
as a helicopter.
Yep.
Triceratops don't do that. Like,
Well, I'm gonna be honest. With
like,
the
like, come on now. Like, and then we get just because he can do that is like, come on, man. How many people are doing
I know.
exactly
yeah.
was limited to their devil fruit? So to me, that stuff when people bring that up, I'm like,
I think that was
bro,
bait from
you just
Oda.
using.
Well, for
It wasn't you. It was other people who I've heard
like
argue too.
the smiles, right? Like the smile difference. Somebody eats a smile, they turn into an animal, and then they turn to a human, and both of those have personalities sharing one body. You know what I'm saying? But and the smiles are supposed to be failed versions of devil fruits.
Man, we
In
was
an
talking
essence.
about that in the stream earlier.
Oh,
Mhm.
word.
Yeah, how it's like.
Yeah. So
I
like,
mean, Eliz was watching the stream,
I
so
think
he probably.
Vegapunk
okay.
is gonna come in and basically unravel the whole mystery of devil fruits.
Well, with Luffy being able to do the punches like that, like
Mhm.
I do believe it is a aspect of rubber. Like when Kaido said, "Oh, rubber's not supposed to do that,"
Mhm.
that only built credibility to going in the other direction. But do I still think it's rubber, a form of rubber? I'll probably agree more with what Ace is like. It's the root form of rubber
Yeah.
because when he was fighting Katakuri, he was only able to punch him because he was bouncing his fist off of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So
Instead
here's the
of
thing. It could be something that rubber's not able to do. That could be a valid statement. That doesn't mean it's something Luffy can't do because Luffy isn't just rubber, he's a rubber man. And
yeah,
Bruh.
people in the world of One Piece can do incredible things, just like
Bruh,
they're looking.
Sasaki was flying around like a damn helicopter with his plane. Come on, bro.
hey, what
Nobody pointed
King
out
pulled his
that's not
head back, didn't he?
nobody sitting here saying that's not what dinosaurs should do. That's not
Oh,
what
they
a
do say that.
triceratops.
And then the characters say, no, this is how dinosaurs hunted in the wild. That's the gag.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and my point is, how often do we see devil fruits be used outside the scope of what they should be limited to, right? Like realistically, like when
Yeah.
Kago was a giraffe and he turned into like a little box, he folded his the giraffes
Shooting
don't do
cannons
that
out
now.
his
Come on
nose.
now. But nobody's sitting there saying there's some special stuff. And that's kind of, I feel as though a lot of people use every single thing
Well, it's
as some
bait.
greater meaning. And yeah, it's
That's
bait.
Oda's doing it on
Exactly.
purpose. He's trying to trick
Exactly.
you.
He baiting.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can see the bait. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so two things I want you to notice in these manga panels. First, Luffy says, keep chasing him, Python. And also, if you look at where the arms bend, I'm using my finger for no reason. If you look at where the arms bend, you can see like a puff of air at each bend. Same thing with Snake Man. In Snake Man, it's even more prominent.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he says after him Python. So this is a consistent thing Oda has purposely put in the story. He wants you to show you that Luffy's telling his arm to do something, as if his arm has a will of its own.
Oh,
so here we go. First thing I present is that Luffy clearly uses Rokushiki. He may not be a master that uses all 6 powers, but he does use Rokushiki. He learned how to use Shave, and he learned how to use Moonwalk. He just learned it from watching other people. So one thing to remember about Rokushiki is that there's the 6 powers, but there's this 7th ability, not technically a part of the 6 powers, but really is the root of all 6 powers. And it's called Life Return. Now, just like Shawn was saying, Kaku's not a made of rubber, yet he can do things that Luffy can do. So this whole, this is some rubber can do, makes no sense in the context of One Piece. He should be able to do these things. Let me say one literally thing. Using the exact same attack as Kaku. He put his head in and launched it out.
Yeah.
Hey, can I add to that, Ellie?
Yeah.
Like, because that was something that I was always trying to figure out when Luffy was fighting Cracker, was how did he make those 8 other arms when he was fighting Cracker? Like, how did he do that?
That one's hard to grasp.
Because Rubber shouldn't have been able to make multiple arms like that.
Yeah. And how does Zoro make multiple heads and arms? You know, like
in the One Piece world strong movie, he did it again with the 8 arms and the 3. Like,
I think that's an after image thing, though. I don't know, maybe not, but you know how when they like Dragon Ball Z when they do the after image thing and there's multiple things, and then they actually end up fighting like they're multiple people, like something kind of like that. You know, at least that's the explanation.
But no, that was just adding to what he was saying about Luffy doing. Like, I had thought about that when I saw him fighting Cracker. Like, how was he making these other fists in the air?
Yeah. No, I get you.
Let me read this. In nature, from the hair on one's head, from one's vital organs to the tips of one's toes, even the ends of one's short hairs, there is not a single spot that cannot be controlled with one's consciousness. To which Chopper says, you can consciously control every part of your hair, every part of your body, even your hair. And he says, I've heard of this. It's called biofeedback. This is Oda telling you, this is my real life reference for this attack, because biofeedback does exist. I go more into this in my Rokushiki is Haki theory. But yeah, you might be saying, well, Luffy never met this guy Kumadori, but still he saw Life Return used by Lucci, maybe not as elaborate as Kumadori, but he also fought the Boa sisters, who used a hair attack very similar, eerily identical to what Kumadori does, and is most likely also Life Return. So could Luffy learn from those experiences? I think so. I mean, just look at the Kaku thing. He didn't see Kaku do that, yet he somehow still did the same thing. He doesn't need to see it directly. He's gonna learn it on his own.
Luffy is a battle genius. Okay. Yeah. He can take concepts and apply them, and you know what I'm saying? Even concepts that he might not even encountered before. He could just kind of put things together, right? Like he might see one function of his body, said, maybe, like, remember he learned Gear 2?
Yeah.
Like it was foreshadowed in the movie, right? Like he, bounced or whatever, and like he put 2 and 2 together type stuff, But go ahead, my bad.
Oh, no problem. So obviously I'm proposing that Life Return is what Luffy could be using to control his arm.
Yeah, no, I get it, and that makes sense.
That's tough. It
makes sense, like, because to me, I just don't get people's argument when they bring that up, because it's like, and if your argument is that's outside of rubber, I'm like, bro, like, how many characters we've seen that done stuff with their devil fruit that was outside of the scope of their ability, right?
Like Blimmy in them springs, man.
Yeah, or there was somebody who was even more recent who did something. I was thinking, okay, it might have been Queen when he ejected his head, but that could probably be attributed to science. So I guess, I'm gonna leave that one alone. But Elijah left the building again. So, but yeah, like, yeah, I don't see much into that though. When people point that out, like, oh, Rubber shouldn't be able to do this. Like, what was Luffy exactly doing that we haven't seen? That was so new, true. Right?
Mm-hmm. Because all right. So what, Shawn? Like, what's your take on the like the Lunarians and Neil being on the moon? Like,
well, I think the Lunarians are definitely related to the moon. It's in the name, right? The Lunarians, lunar. Yeah. I believe that the fate of the Lunarians were similar to the Bible, right? Like the angels, right? Because you look at a Lunarian, like King looks like he could be an angel, right?
Yeah, no,
another person, Hitetu, Toriyama, he got those wings too. His is white. Yeah, but he hides them. I don't know if he could take them off or what.
And he was trying to confront Kaido.
Yeah. So I don't know if he could take his wings off, because one panel I seen he didn't have the wings, but when we met him, he had the wings, right? I think that they were looked at as gods at one point, but then something happened to where they pretty much left the grace of wherever they were, right? Like they fell and became like fallen angels. That's kind of why, maybe they went to a hell, kind of like the Red Sea theory from Elids. So they were fallen angels that went to hell. Their wings got black because they had to become more durable, right? They had to be able to survive. So I think that maybe they were part of the sky people, the other sky races, but maybe they fell out of grace.
Would you think King's wings are coated in hockey then, or are they really black wings?
That one's tough, right? I think,
because when you said what's his name, we saw him with wings and then saw him without.
Yeah.
Are they?
That's a tough one, right? Like, I believe that. I don't know. I don't know if I'll say it's hockey, right? Because his wings was black as a child, weren't they? When he was a kid and Kaido found them.
Yeah, I think they were. Yeah.
So I think it might be something that that they evolve with time. I think the wings are kind of like black blades. Like, however you get black blades, I think that might be how King got black wings, right? Like, or maybe it's just because he was raised in such a harsh environment that maybe he had to learn armament hockey, and he used it so much that it pretty much became permanent, right? So I do think that his wings, I don't think he's actively using armament hockey, but I do think maybe a long use of armament hockey probably attributed to them being permanent
black. Yeah, because Zoro cut him, but he didn't. I mean, he cut the wing, didn't he?
I think he did.
Zoro cut one of the wings, right?
Yeah.
So, but when I saw King, and then I saw the face tattoo, I immediately thought, okay, well, Dragon has to be a Lunarian, or all the people who have face tattoos are Lunarians.
I mean, look, the Shandorians had tattoos like that too, right?
Yeah.
So that could be a sky people thing, right?
Yeah.
I hear you. Oh man,
we've been going in on this stream, man.
But yeah, so I think Eli's got great, some with a Red Sea or hell. Maybe that kind of attributed to Lunarians having to evolve to have black wings.
I'll address that real quick before I finish this.
Maybe they had to use hockey. Yeah.
So could he, it's like, oh, well, he was a kid and he still had the black wings. Well, the thing I propose is that the Red Sea is, underground magma, 10 feet or whatever. is so intense, such a harsh environment, you kind of have to have good armor in hockey. Like you're forced to, and that involves evolution and stuff along those lines. And if you remember when Kaido found Albert, they were performing experiments on him. So even though he was young, they could have been performing experiments on him that forced him to have the black wings. In fact, that might be exactly why he was there in the first place, because they want to experiment and uncover why their abilities are like that. So that's just something to factor in. Now, as for to finish this theory, so the life return aspect was pretty convincing, right? Life return, that's why he could control his arm and all that stuff. However, there is one aspect that doesn't add up as much. It's the fact that in Snake Man, he says, I'm faster. Even stretching, I'll accelerate. Why is it he could not just control his arm, but he could even make his arm go faster? In fact, think about this. Remember their final clash, Katakuri versus Luffy. Don't you ever wonder why is it that Luffy made his fist go all the way around and then back forward again? Doesn't that not make sense? Like if he's going for speed, wouldn't he just go straight forward? It doesn't make sense for him to go all the way around. Well, the reason he's going all the way around is because each time it bends, he's getting faster. So then why would it result in him getting faster? Well, I think it involves awakening. Call back to when I said pay attention to the air, how the air looks every time he's bouncing. What if he subconsciously has been using his awakening on the air? Now, if you're familiar with My Hero Academia, there's this superhero, he's a super villain named Gentle, and he has this ability to turn things elastic around him that he touched. And this really cool ability, he can make even the air have a trampoline effect. So I'm proposing that maybe Luffy has been doing that in his Culverine. So if that's the case, it might make you wonder. In fact, look at the way it looks when Midoriya kind of like turned the tides on him. He like used his rubber against him. So if you look at that panel in the bottom left corner, it looks like Snake Man. It's like he's using the trajectory, and the bouncing. So you might be wondering.
So you saying how Whitebeard could grab the air and stuff?
Yeah.
Luffy can essentially bounce off of. Oh,
yeah. I got a counter to that though. What if he's just using the same principles as Skywalk? Because you did say he knows Rokushiki, right?
Yeah.
So what if he's just because what we know from Skywalk, right? People are bouncing off of the air, right?
Yeah.
Like, so what if he's just more so using the principles of Rokushiki to bounce off of air, But I do kind of like where you're going with that. But I think Rokushiki could also explain it as well, as far as the bouncing off of the air part.
That could be possible.
Because he could do that in Gear 4, right?
True, but the thing I'm focusing on is the fact that he accelerates. You see, him changing the trajectory or bouncing off something is one thing, but the fact that he accelerates, because how physics works is it's kinetic energy. So if he were to hit something, he's actually losing kinetic energy. So how is it that he's getting even more? Like he's accelerating. That's what, to me, always messed up my theory about the life return thing, because I would always think, but physically it doesn't make sense for him to accelerate each time he bends. It just only makes sense for him to get slower. Each time he bend, he would get slower, not faster. So how does that make sense? How can he get faster by? What?
Does bouncing not make you accelerate off?
You lose kinetic energy when you bounce.
Let's say, but I kind of look at it like jumping, right? You're kind of forcing yourself, so when you jump, you are accelerating, right? So it's like
the initial
if it
jump
bounces off of something, which could.
But he's telling his fist to jump.
No, but here's the thing. Think of it like a ball.
The momentum from the bounce can.
If you throw a ball,
the bounce part can accelerate.
No, it can't. That's just physics is kinetic energy. So if I throw a ball, that initial acceleration of throwing the ball is gonna lose that kinetic energy when it hits the surface of something.
Mm.
That's like if I throw a ball right straight down, it's gonna go in the air after I hit the ground. It's gonna come back down. It's not gonna infinitely keep going height. Like that'd be insane.
Right. It doesn't have a force throwing it. It doesn't
That's what
have a
makes a
force propelling
trampoline
it.
a trampoline. If you just keep on jumping
Yeah.
on solid ground, you're not gonna just keep going higher and higher. It's the trampoline is because you keep on going down past the point because of the elasticity. It's the kinetic energy part that
Is
doesn't make
Hey, you just took it to a next
it
level, man.
I
just life
I
return.
think I kind of think we talking about real world physics here though. You know what I'm saying? Like I get what you're saying. You got a point, but I'm saying we can't be completely wrapped in like, you know what I'm saying?
That's me.
I get what you're saying though.
That's the way I theorize. I try to do
It's
my
like,
best to
but
involve that.
he got a point with the
no,
air.
You
with
definitely
the air
got a
being
point
drawn,
though.
with the air being drawn, and it's getting faster. Because I
If
was
it
trying
wasn't
to
the
figure
faster,
out
I
how
wouldn't
is
say
he
this.
doing that, but it's getting faster. Yeah, yeah. I
get
agree.
it.
He's
get it.
using Rokushiki, you know.
Yeah, so
But
that's
like,
actually my
I'm
next
just saying,
point.
like you like.
So it might make you wonder, okay, well, if he can do this with awakening, what's the point of me even bringing up life return? I didn't have to bring that up in the theory because you just said it was awakening. Well, the reason I say that is because one could lead to the other. Life return could be what's actually taught Luffy to use awakening in the first place. Because if you remember, life return is about having conscious control over your body. You know, you don't have insane constant control over every single part of your body. That strand of hair, you can't control it. It might as well just be, your shoe on the ground or whatever. Like it's not like your fingers that you can move freely like you want to. But the whole point of life return is that you can control every part of your body. Well, what is Devil Fruit Awakening? When Doflamingo showed off his abilities, first thing to notice is, well, that's not the first thing to notice, because that's the first thing in the panel. But first thing I want to point out is Luffy says everything's turning to string. It's almost like he isn't a paramecia. Notice how he put into question whether or not it's a paramecia, and notice what the fandom is now doing to Luffy's Devil Fruit.
Yeah.
Awakening makes people question whether or not a Devil Fruit is paramecia.
Yeah.
Now, he could turn a building into string. The way he puts it is very rare, but some powers can awaken and affect objects outside from the wielder. So, life return is about.
I'm kind of lost. Like,
yeah,
I'm kind of. I get he said it, and I can't take the fact that he said it away. But what logia or zone affects external things, right? If anything, a paramecia would be the only category that can have external effects to objects
that we know of.
Yeah, but when have we seen any logia turn a building into fire, right? Without, not just throwing fire at it, but just turning into fire, or like Kaido turning something into like dragon scales or something, right? Like as far as we know, zones, when they awaken, it only affects them, right? Their body. Logia, we know nothing about awakening.
So here's the thing we know about logias, and I think this could be Luffy's rationalization. First of all, overall, what he's at least seen in logias have surpassed in much part what paramecias can do. Just look at Enel. He could do things that maybe he's not top tier, but there's certain things that he done that are top tier feats. He's sort of like glass cannon in a way. He's not that tough, but the stuff that he does is like kind of insane, especially at that point in the series. Imagine if he actually
ability to hear people through the atoms in the air, bro. That's ridiculous.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is the fact that logias are most connected to nature and just like the elements. Logias are like very raw in nature. Enel could actually manipulate the weather. Aokiji could literally like freeze entire ice. Luffy watched him in real time transform an entire battlefield. Same thing with Aokiji. There's not a lot in reference to Paramecia. There's not a lot he's seen that except for like maybe Whitebeard or something like that. So I could see why he would question whether or not it's a Paramecia.
Aokiji actively turned all that water into ice, right? I forgot what in Akaino's case. I think he kind of like he was shooting those fists in the air, right? But I could see him being able to go into the ground and affect it as well. But like, I don't know. Like, I've never seen like a Kainu or like Anel's okay. Anel's that one kind of got me stumped. How he can actually kind of control the weather, right? But I see what Doflamingo did as the most Prometheus thing ever, right? Because we look at like Sugar, right? None of her abilities affect her, right? They affect external. Like she touches you. Kuma ability is also external thing. It whatever it touches, if he wants, he sends you somewhere. Foxy, another Prometheus, he has a ray that affects people's time, right? So these are all things that are like these Prometheus affecting external. Like if you see somebody turn a building in straw, what's the first category you think they're in? Like they're a part of, right? Like what would be the first category you would say that you'll classify them in? If you see somebody turn a building into, let's say you see they turn a building into rats, right? Would you say they're a zone or a Logia or Prometheus? What would
they turned to rats? I think they were the zone, but even then, I don't know. But I think the thing with Paramecia, and I would probably think that person is a Paramecia.
I'm saying if they turn that building into rats.
Oh yeah, I don't know what to think. But that still doesn't even sound like a zone. I guess like Paramecia.
And that's my point. I think in that aspect when Luffy said that, I think Doflamingo was doing one of the most Prometheus type of things you could do. So to me, it was kind of a
as Oda wrote right there, he's kind of bringing that whole debate of the classifications of devil fruit. He's kind of bringing it into question. With that panel, though.
What I would say is if someone
Doflamingo case, I think a better example in Doflamingo case would be his clone, right? Like if let's say he could, how his clone was string.
Yeah.
Like if Doflamingo himself could pretty much turn into string, then now I could see Luffy saying that. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
I think the thing about, like you said, well, if someone just turned it into straw, that's the only thing I saw them, I think that's Paramecia, and they can just turn things into straw. I think with Paramecias, a lot of times they have limitations. They're like very limited. So for Luffy to have seen Doflamingo, what he could do this whole time, and then all of a sudden Doflamingo shows, oh, I can also turn this stuff into string. That's sort of just mind blowing to Luffy, and he doesn't know about awakening. So the fact that he could see Doflamingo do all of this, and then he pulls this out of his ass, he's just like, oh, this is like, it's almost like it's not Paramecia.
Yeah, I still
man, we gonna eat this week, man. We gonna eat this week coming up, though, man. We finna eat.
Okay. So Doflamingo can affect things outside of his body. That's one thing. But it's not just him turning the buildings to string and then they just fall down and it's just string everywhere. He could literally control said buildings now. So that's why I say life return could also be involved in why he even learned awakening. Because if the whole thing about life return is learning how to impose your will on your entire body and learn how to constantly control your entire body, and he has this devil fruit in his body that granted him powers, and if awakening can grant other things powers, I understand how Luffy could start with life return and subconsciously learn how to use awakening. Because he's just like he imposing his will on his arm. He after enough times, he just started imposing his will not just on his arm, but what the air he was punching. Third thing is Kumadori. He has a special place in my heart. I like Kumadori so much. He's my favorite CP9 member. No one has made me laugh more than Kumadori. That has nothing to do with the theory. I just want to say that. I have theories on Kumadori. I just like him a lot. So I try to interject him when I can, but I do think this is relevant. Notice what he says: a millennium in the sea, a millennium in the mountains, inhaling the wind, swallowing the mist. I lived as a hermit and completed my training. And lo, I mastered this life return technique. So what I find interesting is he says inhaling the wind, and that's like a big part of Luffy's power. His most powerful techniques involves him taking in the air. And then the mist. Well, what is his sash? And he says, I lived as a hermit. Well, Luffy trained over the time skip a lot by himself in the woods, in nature, as a hermit would. So even though these characters, Kumadori and Luffy, never met, and they really don't seem a lot like, although I do think they would be pals if they met, they do have similarities. I mean, they have almost Wano-inspired techniques, even though they're not from Wano. Both of them. They're not from Wano, yet somehow they just learned, you know, Hyogoro looked at Luffy and literally said, you look like this guy. So Luffy looking like that isn't just a coincidence. Like, it has to do with Wano. If Hyogoro, who's from a place that's literally isolated from the rest of the world, recognized his form. Another thing is Kumadori refers to him as a shishi. He refers to himself as a lion. And what is Luffy's laugh? Shishi. So these guys actually have more in common than you might initially think. And I think, and this comes all the way back to my Gear 5th theory, where I said I think Gear 5th is Luffy getting in touch with nature. Just like Kumadori was like basically saying he got in touch with nature. That's how he got as powerful as he did. I do think Life Return.
Bro, he's like one of my favorite CP agents, man.
Yeah. And also, the name is literally Life Return. Think about this. Life Return. What does that even sound like? Like Life Return, return to life. That literally sounds like awakening.
Yeah.
Even the name itself sounds like awakening. Life Return, Joy Boy's Life's Return. I don't know. You could come up with anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Luffy, of course, Luffy coming back. He ain't gonna stay dead. Y'all know that. So that ain't even in the question. I just think right now Joy Boy is in possession of the body. He got the keys to the car right now. That's my only thing. So and I'm not saying he's gonna stay here. He might become part of Luffy, right? Or he might resurrect Luffy and then just eventually kind of, or maybe he wants to keep Luffy's body, right? Maybe, and then Zoro has to kind of go.
We got some Sukuna vibes going. We got some JJ going on.
I mean, bro, like
nah, man, I'm here for the ride.
he might think that he's like the best candidate to pretty much change the world, right? So it's like, but I don't know. I don't think. I was gonna say I don't think. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think Joy Boy would be that type of person, though.
But y'all think Kuina is dead?
Yeah. I think so. But I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this be the arc to find out though. If just in case she's not, if we don't get nothing Kuina after this arc, I don't think it's what I'm saying, because Zoro has too many ties to Wano, right? Like he has too much. He's like this is probably the country he's most tied to, because the Shimotsuki clan, Ryuma, all those people, Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think you see where I'm
Oh,
you said what?
That's messed up. He says it's stairs. That's messed up. It's too soon, man. Too soon.
Hey, no. All right. Bro, all right, so what I was thinking was like, okay, what if while Zoro's in hell, he does go looking for Kuina, but she's not there?
If what?
Oh, if he goes, he's looking for Kuina down there in the underworld or whatever.
Zoro shouldn't go to hell, man. He gonna get lost. We ain't never gonna see him again.
But I stairs.
Some stairs, right? Like the whole time she could have left, but it's just a flight of steps, and she fall every time she climbs them. She falls further down, or so.
That's cold.
Oh man, all right.
But yo, geez, I'm gonna have to hop off real quick.
Yeah, I'm about to hop off too in a bit. Hey, I got a question. You a Sith Lord?
hey, yes, sir, bro. I'm here for the agenda.
You're a Sith Lord out here.
Old Republic, my guy.
Oh man. But you an apprentice or you the master?
Nah, man. Man, peace is alive. His only passion.
The whole Sith oath and everything.
Yes, man.
But I'm about to go too soon, Eliz. So I mean, I don't know if you was planning on wrapping up. And I know we kind of freestyled the stream. I know you kind of had a.
Man, I can talk about One Piece all day, man.
Yeah, me too. I need to eat though, bro. I need to eat. So I've been streaming all day, man. Yeah.
Oh, we need to do these on break weeks, bro. We can do these on break weeks, man. Cause
yeah. Hey, Elis, send me like their social media so I could, you know what I mean? Maybe we could, you know. Yeah. So nice to meet you guys as well. You know what I'm saying? Man. You know, it'd be nice to do it again.
Ace Gamer, Shawn P.
Yeah.
It's the Sith Lord. I'm about to slide.
I'll be doing a stream tomorrow. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is yet. You know, I might do another collab, whatever. So yeah, man.
Hey, Ellie got my contact info, man. He could, if he say we going up, then shoot it to me. I hop on. We going up, man. It's great time to be a One Piece fan. Great time for the community.
Yeah, wonderful.
And I can't wait till next week's chapter, man. I really.
Yeah, me either.
And I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm telling y'all, Big Mama Betty.
Bro, you understand how hard it was to avoid spoilers last week, bro? Like
it's everywhere.
Bro, I'm like, God dang, like people don't be giving no damn, like especially people who get those early scans, they don't be, oh my goodness. Bro, I was avoiding Twitter. Bro, oh my goodness. But yeah.
All right, y'all.
I don't know if you wanna, are you still streaming, Eliz, or? Hey, what you doing tomorrow? You free tomorrow? Okay. All right, if you free, I think me and Best Jen probably gonna do another collab stream because we didn't really talk about a lot of stuff we wanted to talk about. So there was definitely more I wanted to talk about. Yeah, hey, you are always free to join, man. Yeah, you're always free to join. That's why, and you know what time my streams tomorrow are, so definitely. Hey, shout out to you guys. Shout out to Ace. Shout out to what was Darth yeah, Luciano, yeah. Shout out to Luciano. Shout out to Ace, the gamer. Shout out to you, Eliz. Appreciate having this thing. You know, I'm always down to help, you know, or hop on the stream if you need me. Hey, appreciate you guys who watched the stream. Y'all know it's me, Shawn P, the Blumphgawd. My channel is just Blumphgawd. Search, look that up or whatever. I think you could. My name is in the title of this stream, so y'all could probably just search it through there. But yeah, hey man, appreciate you having me. All right, I'm out of here.
Like to talk about your theory about how Joy Boy is like that, similar to Super Saiyan. If you're there. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Well, here's something I wanted to mention while I have the stage. I'll give Amir a little time to come back. Sorry. Ace, the game. So at the end of 1042, Luffy is stopped by a Cypherpole agent. And it was very similar to back when Odin was tricked by that old hag. I forget her name, but she was a Kurozumi. I just called her the old hag Kurozumi. You know what I'm talking about. So, what if I told you maybe this isn't the first time that Kaido lost an honorable victory to a Cypherpole agent? And that very same time that it was a Cypherpole agent is also the time when he defeated Odin. The reason I say is because I have this theory that the Cypherpole agents, oh, sorry, not the Cypher, the old Kurozumi, though, so the old hag who could turn into other people because she had, the same devil fruit as Bon Clay, as well as the guy who had the barrier fruit, possibly could have been Cypherpole agents. So think about this. What are the two most important jobs of a Cypherpole agent? There's two. You're either someone who is a really good spy or a really good bodyguard. That's really what it comes down to. And think about their devil fruits. That's like the perfect abilities for being a spy, being able to turn to other people, and being a bodyguard, being able to create a barrier. You really can't get much better than that. So I made this theory 2 years ago. So I just thought that was interesting. Not to say that it's more credibility for my theory, but I just think like, that could just be Oda showing you that Cypherpole agents mess up Kaido's fights and they try to meddle in the affairs of powerful pirates. The world government wants Kaido to win. We've seen it now with his fight with Luffy, and that could have been possible even back then with his fight with Oden. But yeah, that's about everything I wanted to say with the latest chapters. 1043 was hype. I really don't have a whole bunch to say about it, other than, just really cool to see Luffy finally having his moment. We were all waiting one day for to see why is Joy Boy special to Luffy. And one thing I don't see a lot of people mention is that his hat is even turning into whatever this goo is. That's one thing that's like super important because that's showing that's definitely Devil Fruit Awakening. I mean, Devil Fruits affect objects outside of the user. So that right off the bat, it has to do with Devil Fruit Awakening. I can't imagine it being anything other than that. If it was just his hair, then maybe it was something else. But it's like his hat is being affected. Um, Also, it looks like air or steam is coming out of his mouth, which gives me like it makes me think of like spirits. Spirit is either leaving or entering his body, which makes me think of my nightmare of Luffy. So yeah, I'm so excited to see where this is going. Other than that, I don't really have much more to say. If Amir has anything more to say, I'm here for it. Let the people know your theory. But if that's it, let me check the comments. Yeah, that's it. Well, thank you everyone for joining. This was a great stream, even with the technical difficulties. To me, it was just fun talking with friends, but also it was a good first time trying to make a stream. And next time it'll be even better. I might even get better equipment. So we'll see. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you another time.